I love Baltimore Crabs.
This is the stomp and grind of crabs.
And I've been eating crabs since the time I could sit up at a table.
It's a little spicy, salty, and savory, all in one.
If I could describe the taste, you can't. You just have to try it. You just have to try it.
It's time to head out of Studio 1A and hit the road for a new kind of culinary adventure. Follow me as I taste some of the most iconic foods around the country and meet the families behind them. Together, we're going to learn how a good meal has the power to connect us to our past, our future, and each other. When you think Maryland, you gotta think blue crab, an essential part of the state's culture and cuisine. And no place knows how to cook it up quite like Baltimore. I mean, just as many ways as you can count, you can find ways to eat crab. Of course, there's your basic, your steamed crab with the beautiful spices, and you just start whacking that bad boy. You can get all that beautiful meat out. You can get canned crab if you'd like. Of course, there's also the fabulous crab mac and cheese with a hot dog. There's the crab dip, there's your crab soup, and of course, the king of crab, the crab cake. Yes, but this is a cake that needs no icing. Crab cakes have been enjoyed by many for centuries throughout the Chesapeake region. But here in Baltimore, they're a way of life. And one of the city's most popular go-tos is tucked away just inside the world-famous Lexington Market.
We're headed back to Houston today, and we wanted to have the best crab cake in town.
We're from Orlando, glad to be here.
People been coming to Fiddly's for years.
Yes.
Ever since I was little, and I'm 25.
People from all around the world come here to Baltimore just to grab a bite of the famous Fiddly's crab cake. It's made with fresh Maryland crab and family love. Everybody looks the same. How are you, my dear?
Hello.
Hello, hello.
So good to see you.
How are you, sir? You looking good?
You're looking great. Got something for you.
All right. There you go.
There you go. You need one of those.
Oh, yeah.
There you are.
Now I'm feeling really crabby. Pardon me, I've got to get a lawyer because there's a clause I have to have checked. I've known the folks at Fiddly Seafood for years, but they've been serving up fresh crab cakes even longer.
Hi, I'm Nancy Fiddly Devine. I own Fiddly Seafood. It's been in my family now for, 4 generations, and the 5th is coming up, so we've been around a long time.
I think people are astonished to see my parents at 84 and 89 still working.
You can get another 5 cans and do a second batch if you need to with them.
People ask her for an autograph, they ask her for a picture, they ask her to hold their babies. You know, it's really fun.
I mean, here's this company that's been part of Baltimore for over 130 years.
Right.
What is it about your place that has people coming back?
Right. I think it's that people come in here and go right away. There's a warmth.
Uh-huh.
It's like walking into somebody's home that's they're happy to have you.
Uh-huh.
You know, come and you feel, oh my gosh, I feel at home. And I get people, we were here 20 years, it's exactly the same.
In fact, Fiddly still stands in its original location, founded here by John W. Fiddly Sr. in 1886. Started off as a seafood stall, but over the generations grew into a Baltimore tradition, led by Bill and Nancy Devine, along with their daughter.
Damie Hahn, and I am the 4th generation of Fiddly's, so I do everything. Give them a little bit of a smorgasbord of everything. Going over here to fillet a fish, over here to shuck an oyster, over there to steam a crab, back here to fry, up here to make a crab cake, back down on the phone, running in the shipping department. A tray like that is about, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bushels of crabs. in order to get that tray. That's a lot of picking. And I don't think people realize how much work goes into getting an all jumbo lump.
Growing up, did you think you were going to end up here? You were going to be doing this?
No, but it was hard to get away from, and I couldn't see it going away. I couldn't see it ending with my parents. So
The pandemic hit.
yes,
You really had to step up.
my father called me and I said, Dad, you guys cannot come in here. You know, we don't know anything about this virus and the effects, especially on the elderly. And I know you want to be here, but you can't. And he said, Damie, do whatever you do, whatever you can to make payroll. It just makes me cry when I think about it. He said, just make sure that we don't have to lay anybody off. I don't want to lay anybody off. I don't want anybody to lose their job. And we did it.
And I saw it back when I came here in the 90s, and I still see it today. This truly is a family.
Oh, it is a family. and it's funny because I often tell people, Mom and Dad don't treat the employees any differently than they treat me. And that's the God's honest truth.
Which could be a good or a bad.
That's the God's honest truth. And that's why you end up having so many multi-generation families staying here.
That's right. Fiddly's isn't just a family-owned business. It's run by family as well. Multiple generations of employees, father and daughter, father and son, mom and daughter, all building a home here.
I've been here since a junior in high school, so I've been doing the thing for a while.
I'm gonna say it's been around 33, 34 years.
And I started at the end of '79, a week before my son was born.
I started at 14 years old, and I'll be 42 years old in December.
It's always a challenge working with family. A lot of personalities, but you love each other and it always works, you know, it always works well.
What's really, really bad is when your kids are grandmothers.
Well, we were in the middle of an interview. Oh, you just broke in.
You have to start over?
Yes.
You were saying about the challenges of working with family?
It's just a few of them, you know? Just a few.
While the family spirit makes customers feel at home, it's Fiddly's crab cakes that keep them coming back.
What kind of oil do you cook your crab cakes in?
Soybean.
Soybean, thank you.
So excited to have this crab cake.
And I watch people for the first time put it in their mouth and they go, oh my God. And they're standing at a table in a market.
Yeah.
They're not sitting down to a white tablecloth and having somebody serve it on a silver platter. It's on a paper plate, but it belongs on a silver platter.
Nancy created her recipe in 1987, saying she's never changed it. So, besides yourself, how many other people know the Fiddly's crab cake recipe?
Sleep with her, she won't tell me.
He doesn't even know how to make a cup of coffee. Why would I tell him?
So some people use breadcrumbs. You use crushed up saltines.
Broken saltines, yes. And not fine, because you have to use more. Now, so, and then this is the magic sauce.
Is this the secret sauce?
Yes.
So it's just enough to mix the ingredients
Right.
together, nothing more.
That's right.
And the
Fine.
big ball of crab right there.
That's it.
Boom. Oh, look at this. Oh, boy. Oh. It was just like I remember eating it 26 years ago.
You know what? I'm told that all the time when people come in here. The best part about this is you haven't changed a thing.
Now this is a legacy. Well, we know how the crabs end up, but how do they get them? Let's go find out. Coming up, the generations of black watermen who've made a living pulling in Maryland's most famous catch.
This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. I appreciate
it. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
These are our missing daughters and sons.
We need anyone who saw something to come forward.
She was wearing a black jacket, a black top.
I'm gonna bring my son home alive.
Dateline, Missing in America. Listen to the full season now.
NBC News, streaming free now.
These are our missing daughters and sons.
We need anyone who saw something to come forward.
She was wearing a black jacket, a black top.
I'm gonna bring my son home alive.
Dateline, Missing in America. Listen to the full season now.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. This is so healthy. Doesn't it just feel good to be back to school?
It does.
Start today.
The Chesapeake Bay men and women who work these waters are probably just as famous as the legendary catch that they pull out. And in fact, it's backbreaking work that is passed on from generation to generation, including blackjacks. Those were the black watermen who worked these waters all the way back into the 1800s and are a vital part of this community. The Chesapeake Bay is home to a vast variety of seafood, but none as valuable or as well known as the blue crab. The catch here makes up over a third of the nation's supply, and on average, more than 50 million pounds of blue crabs are harvested from the bay.
I'm Captain Tyrone Meredith, charter boat captain, owner, operator of the Island Queen II.
Captain Meredith knows these waters well. He grew up on them.
I'm the fourth generation waterman, and my great-grandfather, he worked on the water, my grandfather, and my father. We've been here ever since the 1860s, making a living, working on the Chesapeake Bay.
This has been the way of life for generations of watermen here in Kent Narrows, a town just 50 miles south of Baltimore. For hundreds of years, they've caught, processed, and sold blue crabs to markets up and down the eastern shore. By the mid to late 1800s, Kent Narrows had also become one of many unlikely havens on the bay for free and enslaved African Americans.
There's more black watermen anywhere on the whole East Coast, probably in the United States.
Those watermen, also known as blackjacks, forged their path to liberation on the water. Their expertise essential to the booming seafood industry. So much so, the government granted some black watermen Seamen's Protection Certificates, providing sailors with American citizenship and a path to economic freedom.
Hey, Lois, I'm coming up on you now. Okay, I got you. Yeah? How'd it biting today?
This morning it did pretty good. Well, being out here is your own boss. You do what you want to do and got nobody to tell you, go get me this or go get me that.
75-year-old Lewis Carter still finds that same sense of freedom on the water today. He's also one of the last generations of black watermen alive. Every morning before the sun rises, he sets out to catch crabs in the bay.
I started in 1961, I was about 15, and I've been at it ever since. Right now, I'm going down the line, and when I get to the other end, I'll throw it off. Crabs will come up on that bait. The pressure from the water pushes them back in this dipper. Okay, these are the big, large males. You put them in one basket. That's a female with red claws. Put them in one basket.
He's one of the last Mohegans left. There's not too many people that still make a living from the water. Most of them moved away, got other jobs, and it's changing because it's harder to make a living from the bay.
Crabbing season runs from spring into late fall, but changes in climate, cost, and labor have made each successive year more challenging. As younger generations take up new trades, there are less people working the waters and ultimately fewer black watermen.
Back when I started, it was a plenty black watermen, but they died out and the younger ones never taken their place. In one way, it makes me feel bad, you know, and I don't think it'll be no chance no more black watermen. I really do believe that.
Captain Meredith estimates there are fewer than a dozen black watermen on the bay. Like many of his peers, he's had to turn to other work.
Back when I was crabbing teenager, I caught high as 50 bushel a day. Right now, crabbers catching 2 or 3 bushel a day. Now I started running charters, fishing charters, because crabbing started declining and the fishing was more lucrative money-wise.
And educational. His charters are an opportunity to keep stories of the blackjacks alive for generations ahead. Although tradition on these waters is changing, one thing remains the same.
Nothing tastes like the Chesapeake Bay Maryland crab. It's got that certain taste to them, and it's the only place like that in the world is the Chesapeake Bay blue crab.
Next, an up-and-coming Baltimore chef inspired by his family's love of cooking.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. This is so healthy. Doesn't it just feel good to be back to school?
It does.
Start today.
News is happening now.
Look at what's making headlines around the world.
We're coming on the air with breaking news.
This is a significant moment.
Whenever it happens, wherever you are, NBC News, streaming free now.
Live from Ukraine, from Uvalde, Texas, from Mayfield, Kentucky. To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told. No. Do you remember any tornado as bad as this one? You look at this and you're thinking, we're not going to have power for weeks, if not months. Exactly. Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today.
We are going to start with some good news.
Doesn't it just feel good to be back to school?
It does.
This is so healthy.
Here's what's happening in York.
The crowd is ready. SG, you ready?
Refresh and reorganize for fall.
Start today.
These are our missing daughters and sons.
We need anyone who saw something to come forward.
She was wearing a black jacket, a black top.
I'm gonna bring my son home alive.
Dateline, Missing in America. Listen to the full season now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
Back in Baltimore, a new generation is putting a spin on the crab cake.
So I'm Alex Perez. I'm the owner of Poppy Cuisine. I'm an artist at heart, so cooking, the arts of culinary, that's something that I'm very passionate about. Not necessarily having a recipe to go off of and just getting in the kitchen, freestyling and coming up with a masterpiece.
It's that freestyling approach that brings people through these doors, clamoring for a taste.
Jumbo, lump crab, lobster.
Crab is king in Baltimore, so you're gonna see crab cakes, crab cake fries, crab cake egg rolls. Everyone's been going crazy over it as well.
This is the bomb.
So I just come back to that, and I enjoy it every time I come here.
We actually live in D.C., so we rode all the way up here an hour just to come here.
Right now I'm drizzling our warhead and our aioli sauces on it. I have family from the Dominican Republic. I'm Afro-Latino. I'm black on my mother's side. And pretty much has always had a love for food and cooking food, eating food. So learning how to cook from my dad. So my dad taught me how to cook at the age of 10. I grew up, watching my grandmother cook a lot as well. So I started pretty much combining the foods that I learned to cook from my grandmother with the foods I learned how to cook from my father. And that's kind of like how the whole Poppy cuisine, was born in her kitchen, essentially.
That was 8 years ago. While working a full-time job, Alex began building a new business on the side, catering food out of his grandma's kitchen. In February 2020, he was finally able to open a restaurant. Then, the pandemic hit.
Of course, a month later, we get the news that we have to shut down and only do takeout. So that just opened up the floodgates, essentially. And you had people standing in line, hundreds of people on the block in that mass, cars double parked up and down the streets. And it was mayhem.
During a global crisis, the city Alex was born and raised in rallied around him. Now, Poppy Cuisine is packed with locals and tourists alike. But the chef stays true to his roots, running it with close family and friends.
My little sister, Natasha.
Hi.
How's it going?
Natasha, my big bro, Alex.
I can employ family members, friends, and so forth, that people who I grew up with, people that I'm close to, and it's very rewarding,
Coming up, I'm going to grab my apron and join Alex and Grandma Gloria for a lesson in cooking crab.
These are our missing daughters and sons.
We need anyone who saw something to come forward.
She was wearing a black jacket, a black top.
I'm gonna bring my son home alive.
Dateline, Missing in America. Listen to the full season now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson. Streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. Appreciate
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. This is so healthy. Doesn't it just feel good to be back to school?
Start today.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
I wanted to meet Alex and his grandma Gloria, the inspiration behind his cooking. So I dropped by their kitchen to say hello.
Well, I know I picked up from my grandmother, my mother-in-law, and just put my own spin on certain dishes. I didn't follow it to the recipe to the letter.
So you're able to ad-lib a little bit.
Yeah, but he's always asked me when I fix a dish, well, what did you put in this? How did you do this? And I would tell him, I said, you don't have to follow to the letter, put your own spin.
And Alex has done just that, turning the classic crab cake into an egg roll. Genius! The ingredients, simple. A pound of jumbo lump crab, panko breadcrumbs, aged cheddar cheese, egg roll wrappers, and a couple of sauces and microgreens to top it off. There's the star of the show, the crab meat. Put on an apron, I've got rubber gloves on. All right, Patience ready. So how do we get started, Alex?
Yeah, so first what you want to do is we have some Maryland jumbo lump crab here. So for the most part, I shouldn't have much shells in, but typically I like to sift through it. Just gotta see if there's any shells, and if so, you can put the shells right back in this container.
There you go. So Gloria, did you know you were helping raise a culinary genius?
Well, no, but I know he liked to eat.
This sauce particular is our crab sauce mix. So we're gonna drizzle a little bit at a time, because I don't wanna put too much, just enough to bind.
You got enough foul?
Yep, I think I'll have enough.
She's staying on me. I like this. I like this lady.
This is why I'm so particular about, when I'm doing things in the kitchen. Gonna start actually rolling these things up. Yes.
Why do you think this recipe is so popular at the restaurant, the most popular?
Well, I think because it pretty much gives you the ability to take a Baltimore favorite and make it handheld and on the go. It's throw in your hand and
street
eat.
Food.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons it's very popular, other than the taste as well.
Right. Well,
yeah, because that's
you can take it with you, but if it doesn't taste good,
exactly.
You're gonna come back for it.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take like a pinch of crab. It's around like a quarter cup or so. They're gonna sit in the middle.
Not too much?
Yeah, we want to take a little bit out, a little pinch out. Actually, we want to put a little bit more in. Yeah.
Which is it?
All right, so that's perfect right there. That's perfect. And we're gonna literally fold them up envelope style.
What is it about cooking and family that is so important?
Yeah, I think for me, living a busy life as a business owner and a dad, a husband, and things like that, I feel like food is an opportunity for family to come together, talk about things, especially if you haven't seen each other in a long time. And it's a way for us to connect. So,
Laura, is it true you've never done this before?
No, I haven't. It's true.
Oh. Could have fooled me that you never did this before. Look at that. Bam! Done!
Faster than I did.
Wow! Wow! It's a natural grandma thing. Love it. So now we're going to get the deep fryer up here and fry these bad boys up.
Oh, absolutely.
Woo! If you had to describe the heart of your cuisine, what is it, and how does Baltimore kind of is part of that?
Pretty much my story, and I think that connects very well to our Baltimore, because I grew up here, all my life, and I think everything that I faced during the time that I started this company up until now, I've been transparent about, and it resonated very well with the people in Baltimore, and they watched my journey through the years, and I feel like that's really the heart of what I do.
Make sure
and crisp around the edges and things like that. So that's why I keep turning them, so it doesn't fry on one particular side too much. And just want to even fry.
Ooh.
Nice and golden.
So we want to cut these diagonally. So I'm going to drizzle. This is our aioli sauce, house made, and this is our warhead sauce right here. So the sauce is kind of sweet, has a tangy bite to it.
Oh, kind of like Gloria.
Yep, that's right.
Well, I guess there's only one thing left to do.
Yeah, and that's the piece.
Yes, yes. Crab cake egg roll.
Here we go.
Wow. Chef Alex, you have done Baltimore proud.
Thank you.
Our time here in Baltimore is coming to an end. We tried the traditional crab cake, tasted a modern spin with crab cake egg rolls, and even went straight to the source on the Chesapeake Bay. At the center of it all, one thing still ringing true: food tastes better when you eat it with family.
Thanks for doing this. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for hosting us in your spot.
I'm thrilled that you were all out here in our little store.
What is it like to be sitting in a brick and mortar store surrounded by sort of the universe you've created? So much of what you've done is online, obviously, but to sort of see it all in front of you and have people come in and look and touch and feel.
You know, I always find it surreal a little bit when I come into a store. And I think even more so now in a post-COVID landscape, because our stores were closed for so long, and it's so nice to actually, I don't know, come back into a physical space and see customers. And it's such a place of discovery for people, and everybody's always smiling when they're in the store. So I love coming into the store.
That's a good sign. Is there one place when they come in later today, they'll go? Is it to the candles, the famous candles? Is there something they're really coming in here looking for?
I think we have kind of a variety of people who come into the store. You've got like your diehard Goop shoppers who come always for G-Label every month, or they come to see, you know, our curation. We're kind of known for the curation and assortment. And then there are people who've heard about it in the press who are just curious and are coming in either to see sexual wellness or candles. And then there's the clean beauty, of course, which we're really proud of that whole section and what we've been able to, I don't know, contribute to the clean beauty movement. And so there's always something for everybody here in the store.
I didn't realize how long this has been brewing in your head. The newsletter's 2008, the company comes a few years later, but sort of at the height of your Hollywood powers 20 years ago, you were already thinking about something else. Where did that start for you?
Well, I think I've always been a person that's been incredibly curious and always wanted to learn. And that to me is also like learning where the best bagel shop in Sag Harbor is, and kind of gathering good information and sharing good information. It's always been my real passion. And I've always been like a pretty discerning customer. So I remember when the internet was kind of first getting going, I couldn't really find anything in the lifestyle space that spoke to me as a customer. And, you know, I didn't trust the travel curations, for example. And so I thought, gosh, it would be so fun to have a site on the internet that kind of had a collection or an aggregation or a curation of really the things that make me excited. So it took me a long time of talking to people, meeting with people, asking questions, even before I just decided to send that very first simple newsletter. It was a good few years in the making.
And as you thought about it then, was that sort of, this is my next chapter after acting, or is this a parallel chapter with acting?
I describe it as like I'm in my life and I'm doing my thing, but there's some part of me that's preparing for something else in my future. And I don't think I was consciously thinking about a next chapter, but I think I was definitely thinking about, you know, the years that I had spent doing 3, 4, 5 movies a year, traveling all the time, missing my home, missing my friends and family. And also wondering, you know, do I have permission to even ask the question, like, would I want to do something else? Like, would I have the liberty to pursue a different passion? And what would that look like? And so it was a slow process for me. It definitely was like a leap that I was taking.
When you started writing the newsletter, at what point along that journey did you say, oh, this can be something more? Maybe there's a company in there somewhere.
I think, you know, well, I remember a specific moment when I had done a piece on the French pharmacies. So the pharmacies in France are fantastic and they have all these amazing products. I kind of had done an edit of the best of the French pharmacy. And somebody stopped me on the street and said, you know, I love that piece so much. I just wish I could have clicked to buy at the end because I was on, you know, Amazon.fr trying to find this and that. And it was such a nightmare. And it was the first time that it occurred to me that you could have e-commerce as a service as opposed to just being so transactional, like buy this, like that a curation was actually valuable and information and someone like going out and doing all the legwork for you could actually be a value proposition. And so that's when I started to think about how e-commerce might play into this.
Did you have people in your life saying, this is nice, Gwyneth, that you're doing pretty well with the acting thing. Let's keep our focus here?
Yeah, I mean, I think, not in my immediate life, because I think my family and my friends, I think they're used to I think what was always a really entrepreneurial spirit, right? I mean, I think when you're an artist, it's very entrepreneurial. You have to believe in yourself so much when nobody else believes in you, and you have to visualize that you're going to get somewhere, and so there are a lot of parallels, I think. But definitely, people not closest to me were like, what the hell is she doing? Why is she doing this? And which, it's like the story of my life.
How did you bump up against those skeptics and deal with some of that criticism?
And like being my own worst skeptic in that capacity, right? Not knowing if I had the ability to run a company, and really having to learn on the fly how to run a company, and making so many mistakes, because I hadn't grown up in the world of e-commerce or growth marketing or anything. I just had passion and an instinct, and like I thought, good taste, and so I set out to do it, and I didn't set out to run it. When I first started to think about how to monetize it, I thought somebody else, has to do this. So I hired a CEO, a great guy named Sept, who was my first CEO in London. And unfortunately, when I was moving to America, he couldn't move, he was gonna come. And over the next couple of years, I realized that certainly at the size we were, that I was the right person to run the company. And despite the myriad mistakes that I've made, I still think that was the right decision up to a point. I mean, I think at a certain point, it's gonna be too much for me, and I'll hand the keys to somebody else.
But you've got the company this far. Mm-hmm. You've done pretty well with it. You don't think you could take it to the next level?
Well, it's hard for me to gauge, because I know what I have not known from zero to where we are now, and I don't know what I don't know from now into like the next phase. And so, I mean, I ask questions all the time. I call other founders all the time. What should I anticipate? Like, what's around the corner? How do you really scale after this, point? And I think that I could probably do it to a certain point, but I don't know. I'm not sure if I could run it, like if we had a even more complex international omni-channel business, like I just don't know that I would be the right person at that point.
You're in every meeting, you're making all the decisions. Was that a hard adjustment for you where, oh my gosh, this is all coming back to me at the end?
Yeah, for sure. And a scary one. I think when you work at a company like Goop, you have to assemble a great team around you, and really, I think the team that we have is amazing, and we make decisions collectively, but the buck always stops with me. And I would say it is difficult to be the creative force, the driving force creatively, and to have all these ideas all the time, but also to be the person who's responsible for the P&L. Sometimes those are competing intentions.
Yeah.
And so it's been very interesting for me to learn how to adjudicate those things and understand like when it's okay to take a risk and when it's not. And I mean, you never know 100%.
I know that as fun and invigorating as it is, there are some really tough days. And there are moments where you're like, actually, I'm not sure if this is gonna work. I don't know if we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Did you have several of those moments before you got to this point?
I have them all the time. I
Still?
mean, yeah, of course. And especially like having gotten through a pandemic, and now there's a looming recession, and it's always something, and you think like, is this going to be okay? Do I have the chops to get us through this? Like, what am I not thinking about? What else, is like, what are the potential landmines? And it's funny, I saw something once that said, it's like the creative process, and it was like someone ideating or having an idea, and it was like, this is brilliant. I am brilliant. I think this is okay. Like, I don't think this is okay. This is I am and then it starts again, it's like, and that's very true. And I think that's just part of the seasons of, being a founder and being so close to what you're doing and having to get excited by your own ideas, which is so weird. And then sometimes you think like, this is terrible. Like, why am I doing this? Like, you know, but it passes. Yes, I've had many of those days.
But then the next day is a good day, and you're right back at it, right?
Yeah, or the next day, you know, someone, you know, says like, you know, I had a conversation with my daughter about her sexual wellness that I never thought possible, and you facilitated that, and I'm so grateful because I grew up with all this weird shame around it, and now, you know, and she cited Goop, like things like that happen, and it like makes me cry. Or someone says, you know, I found the best restaurant I ever went to, and you know, on your thing, and I met some, you know, it's like that web of meaning that happens when I think you're creating a business from a place of really wanting to help people find great things and, you know, bring them shortcuts and bring them amazing quality products. Like that happens. So those things always fill me back up and make me think like, okay, you know, I'm gonna keep going.
Live from Ukraine, from Uvalde, Texas, from Mayfield, Kentucky. To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told. No. Do you remember any tornado as bad as this one? You look at this and you're thinking, we're not going to have power for weeks, if not months. Exactly. Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Let's go. This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. Appreciate
it. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Let's talk about some of those amazing products.
Okay.
Some of the ones that get the most attention.
Yes.
The candle on top there.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me the story behind the candle, the one that everyone talks about.
Yes, I will. We really believe at Goop that there are a bunch of taboos that exist that keep women particularly kind of ensconced in shame and out of their power. And so we like to find those paradigms and expose them. This smells like my vagina. Can I say that on morning TV? Okay, good. So see, we've made progress.
We did.
We've made progress.
This
is great. So they're really provocations more than candles. They're meant to sort of take people by surprise and then ask like, what is this? What does this mean? And this is like triggering, and why is it triggering? And I think there's a lot of, it's certainly when I grew up, there was a lot of shame around our sexuality or ambition. And so This Smells Like My Vagina candle is really like that provocation to say like, it's amazing to be a woman in every way. It's amazing to have that kind of power, and you deserve to have that agency. And so it's just kind of a funny, strong way of, you know, being a provocateur.
And you guys have a big focus on pleasure, which I feel like even lately, partly because of you guys, people talk about that more openly.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, it's a conversation that we started around that very thing, right? Like, what is it like to be a woman who is not afraid of orienting around pleasure? It's not selfish, it's beautiful, it's important. You know, whether it doesn't have to be sexual pleasure, but just this idea that, you know, we all deserve pleasure, and it's a beautiful part of life, right? And so the sexual piece of that, you know, sexual wellness is a really new vertical, both at Goop and I think in culturally. So I think we're really proud of what we've been able to do culturally and shake that taboo off a bit.
So what do you see, whether it's with you at the helm or not, what do you see next for Goop?
Well, I think we still, you know, we have a lot of work to do. I think just, again, like having been a startup and made a lot of mistakes, like we're in a really interesting foundational year of like cleaning up a bunch of processes. And I think we really are excited to keep kind of introducing the brand to people who might not know about the brand yet. I think that the lifestyle aspect is exciting to me as well, you know, that there are multiple ways that you can reach a customer. We started a food business that's very nascent in Los Angeles that's doing extremely well, but I think it's a great way to deliver on the beauty and wellness from a different angle, right? We're always just trying to push further and think about the different ways that we can connect with the customer and think about, you know, the exciting products that we have in the pipeline. And there's a lot still left to do. I'm very proud of us and where we've been able to get to.
Live from Ukraine, from Uvalde, Texas, from Mayfield, Kentucky. To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told. No. Do you remember any tornado as bad as this one? You look at this and you're thinking, we're not going to have power for weeks, if not months. Exactly. Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this?
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
Do you ever look back, Gwyneth, and say, I left behind, not completely obviously, but I left behind an incredibly successful acting career. Do you miss that part of your life, to be on sets all the time and traveling and doing all those things?
No, I don't. I really don't miss it at all. I think I'm so lucky that I got to do it, and I'm sure I still will at some point. You know, I did promise my mother that at some point, like if we ever sell the company or if I am not CEO, or at some point before I die, I told her that I would go and, you know, do a play. So I'm going to deliver on that promise at some point.
Okay. Get you on Broadway,
Yes,
West End.
that's
something.
what she would like.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
You also, what a gift to be able to have this period in your life with your kids, which I know was
Yeah.
intentional. Has that been maybe even the best part of all this, that you haven't been flying all over the world, that you've been home with the kids?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially now that I do have one going off to college, you realize how finite it went so quickly. And you're right. You know, I was talking to my son about this the other day, actually, that I used to take him and his friends in London to a kickboxing class every Wednesday, and I would be editing the newsletter on my iPad because it would go out, you know, Thursday morning. But I was always there. I was always in this basement in Swiss Cottage in England, you know, like at the kickboxing. And so I was able to be there for most of it, which I really appreciate, because, I mean, being on set is amazing, but the hours are long. I mean, you know, sometimes 18 hours. So there were certain times when I did do movies, when I had them, and I would leave the house before they woke up, and I would come home after they were already asleep, and that was tough. So I feel very blessed that I've been able to try to pursue this other career and kind of like keep hours, you know, where I'm able to be home and make them dinner and stuff like that.
I was interested to hear you say in another interview that you're almost more comfortable doing this than you were doing movies. You seem so at ease as an actor, and you did so well with it. But you sort of said, despite your parents being in the business, it didn't really feel like home to you. You didn't love the fame that came with it and all that. What did you mean when you said that?
Well, I think it's a few things. I mean, and it's a bit of a double-edged sword, right? Because fame is also incredible and brings with it amazing things and opportunities. And I was able to leverage that to start Goop, and I still do in a lot of ways. But I think, having done now in my corporate life, like having done Myers-Briggs a couple times, like I'm an introvert. I always test, yes. And so I'm sort of a fake extrovert who's had to get comfortable being, like pretending to be an extrovert, and I'm really not. So I don't love being in front of the camera. I don't love being the center of attention. I hate speaking in public. And I've had to learn all those skills to sort of like prop myself up and do it anyway. But I'm much happier in a much more quiet, private scenario. And I'm much more internal, I think, than people would probably expect.
And you were watching your mom, the wonderful Blythe Danner, as a young girl, having an exciting life and playing these incredible parts.
Yeah.
And so that's probably, right, you were just kind of following
exactly
what she was doing.
My mother, I spent so much time sitting, watching her rehearse plays. It was like such a giant part of my childhood. And she was just so incredibly powerful, and she had such freedom on stage. And so I was like, well, I want to do that as a job, because that looks, but I didn't realize that there were other means to that. I thought, you have to be an actress in order to really be self-realized like my mom. And I wouldn't change anything, and especially when I look back on certain times in my life or certain roles or certain plays I did or certain movies that, had an impact on people. I'm so happy that I did all of that. That was really special and a very unique life. So
when you were coming up trying to be like your mom, it was kind of just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
What was the point at which you said, oh, this could be my life, this could be my career?
My parents always said that I wanted to be an actress from the time I could speak. And so I was very focused on it. And I knew when I was in high school that I was going to do it and I was going to be able to have some success. Like I could feel it, and so I don't know if I could feel it because it was going to happen or I manifested it because I had that belief, but I never questioned it. I had a very strong bullseye, that I was moving towards.
You went on this incredible run of 7 Emma sliding doors into Shakespeare in Love, where you win the Oscar, and clearly your life is turned upside down.
Yeah.
The camera's chasing you everywhere.
Yeah.
What was that transition like in your life?
Very overwhelming. It's very intense. There's I crossed a threshold at some point. I think it was probably around the time of winning the Oscar where, you go from people kind of being curious about you or discovering you or rooting for you to it all being upended and people really wanting to tear you down and take great pleasure in it, and wanting to know everything about you in a way that can feel really intrusive. And it was really intense. I mean, really, really intense.
I had scary
days where,
at times.
yes, absolutely. I mean, where you're thinking there's going to be car accidents and people are tapping your phone and writing all kinds of stuff about you that is not true, and it's a lot.
And it gets away from you. You can't control all that, right? You can't put your finger in every hole in the dam. You just have to...
Which ends up being a really beautiful lesson because it's really just a microcosm. It's really just a lesson in knowing who you are, loving the people you love, being totally in integrity, and everybody else. Now that I know you cannot say on morning television.
We'll bleep that. You said the candle. You opened the door to whatever.
Okay, good.
So, I mean, it seems like probably that was part of the reason, too, where you were already thinking about spinning out of acting because you didn't love the extra stuff that came with it, which brought you to this place, to Goop in some ways.
I think that's true. And of course, as I said, I still am the public, consumer-facing person for the brand too. So I have to stay a little bit connected to the public, which is fine. But also I think that I'm older now and I'm not doing movies with so much regularity. It's simmered down a bit, which feels really nice.
So when you think, Gwyneth, about the Hollywood side of your life now. What does it take to get you involved? Because you've done some cool stuff, right? Politician and a bunch of other things.
Little bits here and there. I mean, if my husband was doing something and wanted me to do it, I would do it. I think I would work with friends if they wanted me, you know, like people that I know and love, and if it wasn't too big of a part, kind of a thing.
Yep. Iron Man?
I mean, if I don't see how that could happen unless it was like a prequel, but then we would be too old, right?
Right.
But sure, I mean.
Were those fun to drop into and play that cool
Very
character?
Very fun.
Yeah.
And you know, Robert Downey is just like such a spectacular person who has remained a very, very close friend of mine for all these years. So I would always do something with Robert if he needed me for something, and if that was Iron Man, then I'd be there.
You heard it here first.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Today is Now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts. News is happening now.
Look at what's making headlines around the world.
Right now on Morning News Now.
We're coming on the air with breaking news.
And this is a significant moment.
Whenever it happens, wherever you are, NBC News, streaming free now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? Hey, Miss Lester, who's this?
Today is Now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
You have a big birthday coming up?
Yep.
Do we have plans? Are you excited about it?
Oh my gosh.
Does it mean something to you? Is it just another birthday?
I am so excited about it. First of all, I'm so surprised and delighted that I'm not freaked out about it. Because when I was turning 40, I was a mess. And so I thought, oh boy, 50 is going to be, it's going to feel, and I feel so good. Like, I'm so happy to be turning 50. I feel so grateful. I think I grieved a lot of the piece around, like, the physical part. You know, I think when you grow up in the culture very much and like pictures of you everywhere and you turn 40, people make such a big deal about it that you think like, oh my God, I'm over the hill. Like, and so there's a kind of grief and letting go of that youth in a way, but that I think also when I was turning 40, and I always say this like to my friends and my team, like I felt like then I turned 40 and I got this amazing software upgrade, which really felt like, oh, this is actually kind of great. And like, I feel like I can be who I am a little bit more and I have permission. Totally. And now I feel like that times 100. And I just feel like this is who I am. And I really like myself and I really know all of my flaws and I'm really working on them. But like, I'm okay being where I am and I'm okay being who I am. And so I'm excited to turn 50. I'm really excited about it, actually.
Well, cool. I think we're going to try out a product.
Oh, great.
Which has some relationship to morning television.
I'm going to help you.
Okay. Did you know about all this stuff before you started Goop?
No.
Were you into this? I mean, you were into skincare, but you didn't know
I was
all the
always into
clinical side of
skincare.
it.
That's right. I didn't know what ingredients are active at what level and that kind of thing, and like what is the alternative, like the non-toxic alternative for, X, Y, and Z. So that's been really fascinating to really like dive into the science and understand.
It's pretty cool what you've done.
Thank
You've kind of blown open a market, haven't you?
I mean, I think we definitely helped kind of usher in the clean beauty movement, and first in writing about it and before we made our own products. And then I really did see like a white space there. I didn't see any luxury clean skincare. And And so now we're just trying to make products that, that are people's favorites and that they keep coming back and back for. And so it's great. It's exciting.
Well, congrats on the big success of it.
Thank you.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Start Plus. I'm Jacob Soboroff, filling in for Carson. Coming up, we have got everything you need to know about last night's Emmy Awards. We're going to recap the winners and all of the big moments. Plus, we're going to hear from our friend and Emmys host, Kenan Thompson, including the shows he loves to watch. And as the world honors Queen Elizabeth's life and legacy, we will revisit our conversation with Getty royal photographer Chris Jackson, sharing his favorite photos of the Queen. But first, here's today's Pop Start.
We've added Dylan to the mix. Jacob's covering for Carson. What time is it, Mr. Roker?
Best time of the morning. The best time of the morning. Ladies and gentlemen, your Pop Start. Here we go. First up, the Brady Bunch. The Emmys made for a very Brady reunion last night. The actors who played Brady siblings Greg, Bobby, Cindy, Peter, and Jan, too, in the iconic 1970s sitcom hit the red carpet together, and Emmy host Kenan Thompson had a fun surprise for fans of the show. During the opening number, he celebrated some of television's most famous theme songs and put a fun spin on the Brady Bunch theme. Watch this, guys.
Here's the story of a lovely lady who was bringing up three very lovely girls. All of them had hair of gold, like their mother, the youngest one in curls.
Let's go.
Yes, keep it in the middle is the best part.
Yeah.
Welcome, the original cast of the Brady Bunch!
I love it.
Taking you to the club this morning.
Oh, just need Marcia, and then you'd have the full.
Do need a little Marcia. All right, next up, Kelly Clarkson, the talk show host, is hitting the road. She kicked off season 4 of the Kelly Clarkson Show right here in New York City. And what a better way to celebrate than with a Kellyoke. In a show-stopping mashup, Kelly covered classics like Willie Nelson's On the Road Again, so good, Madonna's Music, and Aretha Franklin's Freeway of Love, finishing off strong with a little Taylor Swift. Should we just hang it up and watch the rest of that performance? That's a good one. I know, just keep playing it.
Anybody can nail a mashup.
Yeah.
Kelly Clarkson.
Oh my gosh.
She's so good. By the way, you can watch the Kelly Clarkson Show weekdays right here on NBC. And finally, our special guest for Pop Start. It is a very exciting day for the one and only Dylan Dreyer. Her new book, Misty the Cloud, Friends Through Rain or Shine, is out. By the way, the second in a series, the first one, a New York Times bestseller.
Well, thank you.
Tell us more.
Yeah, the first book, when it came out, Rusty was born right before it released.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to do, all this in person. It was all on Zoom. But now, more than ever, with 3 kids at home, the concepts of compromise and sharing and kindness, more important than ever. And, since the story takes place up in the sky and this imaginary world in the clouds, when you have Misty and her cloud friends and Ray and her sunbeam friends learning about compromise, beautiful things happen. I mean, what happens when it rains and it's sunny at the same time?
I've always loved your concept from the second you told me about it, because I think it's so fitting for little kids. Like their moods, they are like weather systems that kind of blow in and blow out. And this is such a good way to put it.
It's funny how it parallels the weather, the emotions, and it kind of puts a face to it. And it also, of course, because I love explaining science to kids in a way they can understand. The back of the book is all about weather and rainbows in this sense and how they're created. You could do some experiments.
Can I do it? Go ahead.
We've been waiting for this book because we've worn out your other one. And my kids were asking, when is the next one? Today is the day.
Today's the day. So
a rainbow's a full circle. It's a spoiler from the book, but a rainbow is a full circle. I did a little reading before.
A rainbow actually makes a full circle, but the horizon cuts it in half.
Well, I just wanted to
know that.
I just noticed that you dedicated this to Calvin. So guess what? 2 more books.
I know.
We got to get there.
Calvin was my co-editor on this whole thing. If he didn't like it, it didn't make it in the book.
Wow.
So.
And there's more you need to know, including more Kelly Clarkson news. She teamed up with the legendary Dolly Parton to deliver us a duet of Parton's classic hit, 9 to 5, 40 years after the original. Check this out.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living, barely getting by. It's all taken and no giving, they just use your mind, and they never give you credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it.
The dynamic duo recorded this song as part of the upcoming documentary, Still Working 9 to 5. Starring Parton herself alongside stars like Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin, the film chronicles decades of real-life workplace inequality and the women's rights movement. Still Working 9 to 5 premieres this Friday in select theaters. Coming up next, Hocus Pocus 2. The Sanderson sisters are back in a new trailer for the very highly anticipated sequel. Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy reprise their roles as the quirky witches returning to Salem to stir up so much more trouble. Watch.
I have a gift for my favorite customers. Legend has it, it's on the 16th birthday that a witch gets her powers.
Children! Yes, Salem, we're back! Gilbert, where did you get that candle? We have to get out of here. The witches will be here any second. Ah! The book is alive.
He woke up?
All right, now, Hocus Pocus 2 hits Disney Plus on September 30th. And those are your Pop Start Plus headlines. Coming up next, a recap of last night's Emmy Awards. Stick with us to see who won big. We'll be right back.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
NBC News, streaming free now.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. We are going to start with some good news.
Doesn't
it just feel good to be back to school?
Does.
This is so healthy.
Here's what's happening in York.
The crowd is ready. SG, you ready?
Refresh and reorganize for fall.
Start today.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
These are our missing daughters and sons.
We need anyone who saw something to come forward.
She was wearing a black jacket, a black top.
I'm gonna bring my son home alive.
Dateline, Missing in America. Listen to the full season now. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
NBC News, streaming free now.
Thanks for being with us here on Pop Start Plus. Maybe you missed last night's Emmy Awards or you need a recap of all the winners. Well, lucky for you, Jason Kennedy brought us everything we need to know from the biggest night in television.
This was exactly what we needed, right? A show filled with lots of laughs and some really touching moments. For the first time since 2019, the Emmys were back at the Microsoft Theater here in LA, where the brightest stars of the small screen took home TV's biggest award.
The White Lotus!
Taking the top floor at this year's Emmys, HBO's hotel dramedy The White Lotus, winning 10 awards, including Best Limited Series, Supporting Actor, and Supporting Actress for the hilarious Jennifer Coolidge, who refused to be played off stage.
Hold on. Okay.
Ted Lasso! Also scoring big, Apple TV Plus's Ted Lasso with 4 awards, including repeat wins for Best Comedy Series, Lead Actor, and Supporting Actor.
This show is about good and evil. This show is about like the truth and lies. This show is about all that stuff.
Succession.
HBO's hit Succession, winning Best Drama for the second time. Other Emmy repeats include Jean Smart's Lead Actress win for Hacks, Julia Garner's 3rd Supporting Actress win for Ozark, And Zendaya clinched her second lead actress for Euphoria. At 26, she's the youngest two-time Emmy winner ever.
I try my best every night. I try to sit down and I make my list of all the things I'm grateful for.
SNL veteran Kenan Thompson hosted the fun-filled show, which returned to a pre-pandemic format, with nominees closely seated at tables.
TV is all we have, from Netflix and chill to Paramount Plus and eating dinner alone.
There were also plenty of firsts. Lee Jung-jae won lead actor for Squid Game, the first actor in a non-English series to take the prize. And an emotional Lizzo scored Best Competition Program for her show Watch Out for the Big Girls.
When I was a little girl, all I wanted to see was me in the media. Someone fat like me, black like me, beautiful like me.
Cheryl Lee Ralph.
But perhaps the most moving moment came from Cheryl Lee Ralph.
And I know where my voice belongs.
Who broke into song and earned a standing ovation after winning her very first Emmy, Best Supporting Actress for Abbott Elementary.
I am here to tell you that this is what believing looks like.
Man, what a night. And we have even more on the Emmys. We could not let the show pass without a breakdown of all of the fashion, and Xana Roberts, Rossi stopped by to guide us.
Let's welcome in E! News style host Xana Roberts Rossi right there last night. Caught the red eye. You made it in. We're happy to see
I always hot-foot it up that carpet for you ladies in top fashion.
Rank it on a scale of 1 to 10. You've done so many of these red carpets.
I think it was an 8. It was really good fun. You know what? The Emmys carpet is much more relaxed, so it really ran the gamut. You have razzle-dazzle to pared-back glamour.
Wow.
So who were in your top list? Who were some of your faves? I want to start with Hannah Waddingham. We just saw her in the tape there. She looked fantastic. She had this great Dolce & Gabbana dress on. So this basically took 8 weeks in the works. It's a tulle dress, and she was absolutely phenomenal. She balances that line between fairy tale and old school Hollywood, and it took 250 meters of tulle to create this
and
dress.
those sneakers
The
made
sneakers, weren't they fun? Well, look, she's 5'11". She doesn't need the height, and she was bouncing up and down from that stage, collecting awards all night. So it was kind of the perfect addition.
Let's talk about Amanda Seyfried. She won her first Emmy, which was great news.
It was great.
She looked gorgeous
She
too.
looked gorgeous in Armani Privé.
Yeah.
So this was a fully mesh crystal gown.
Ooh,
this was
pretty.
off the runway. Her stylist Elizabeth Stewart told me that she'd seen this dress walk the runway and literally ran backstage after the show to grab it to reserve it for this very night. It's chainmail with this beautiful wispy tulle at the top, and she just looked absolutely beautiful. In real life, this just glittered. It was stunning. So pretty. How about Zendaya? She won again, and she's ruling the red carpet as well. She can do no wrong this one. So she wore Valentino couture. She always balances that old school Hollywood with the contemporary. She really channeled Grace Kelly in this dress. 1950s was the reference. And then this Bardo-esque hairdo with the headband. I mean, it's like every headband is just sold out immediately after you see this.
You know who looked great too and gave a beautiful, heartfelt speech was Lizzo. Weren't you so glad that she won?
So fun. I mean, and she came and her motto is more is more.
More
and
is more.
She brought it. This is Jean Baptiste tulle gown. It was custom made for her, and only Lizzo can twerk in a dress of this size. It was incredible.
It was
awesome. Okay, so let's talk some trends. White. We saw a lot of white on the red carpet. Lots of whites. Yeah, it was kind of a nice palette cleanser actually compared to all the razzle dazzle. We saw Kerry Washington looked phenomenal in this Ellie Saab. She had tights on, which was quite the conversation piece because it was 107 degrees on that carpet last night. However, she looked awesome in this dress with the high-low hem, the fantastic Louboutin heels, and just it's kind of a fun way of doing white. Then we moved in to Selena Gomez, who looked very demure. Kate Young, her stylist, said we're definitely going in a more elegant version of that with the green emerald earrings. Emerald was a big trend of the night.
And then Issa Rae. Oh, she looked gorgeous.
Stunning in the black and white. Sergio Hudson.
We could talk all morning. What did you wear?
I wore concrete white.
Oh, of course, on trend.
She's the trend of the night.
If you want more on Emmys fashions and winners, be sure to check out today.com.
Next up, your Emmys host, Kenan Thompson, sharing the shows that he enjoys watching. Don't go anywhere.
The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Let's go. This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. Appreciate
it. News is happening now.
Look at what's making headlines around the world.
Right now on Morning News Now.
We're coming on the air with breaking news.
And this is a significant moment.
Whenever it happens, wherever you are, NBC News, streaming free now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this?
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Hey, welcome back to Pop Start Plus. Our friend Kenan Thompson did an incredible job hosting the Emmys last night. He recently joined us for our What to Watch series and told us what shows make him laugh.
What I watch that might surprise people. I have to admit, I watch diners, drive-ins, and dives a lot. Like, I don't know if everybody really knows what that is, but that's Guy Fieri's show, where he goes around and pretty much compliments every cuisine that there is. Between that and Carnival Eats, I just think that those shows are just like really entertaining, you know, because Carnival Eats is just so crazy. People are making, you know, so many concoctions, and a lot of them are brilliant. You know, and then some of them are just like, you know, fried butter or whatever. So those are two interesting kind of guilty pleasures of mine. It's just, you know, watching Guy Fieri and that Camaro and the Carnival Eats people, man. It's wild what's going on out there in America. What I watched that reminds me of my childhood, Stranger Things, I think checks a lot of those boxes. There's been a lot of like, you know, back to the 80s kinds of things. I think with It was kind of like 80s-ish, you know, or like right on the cusp of 70s and 80s or whatever. But, you know, those are, you know, a little bit scary. So I turn it on for nostalgia's sake for a minute, and then I get up off it before I get too frightened. What I watch when I need comfort food probably is sports, which, you know, probably happens a little too often. I get a little too comfortable. But, you know, sports is always, you know, that kind of cuisine. It's comforty, wingsy, you know, mac and cheesy or French friesy type of stuff, you know, just to feel like a man on the sidelines, that is. What I watch when I need a good laugh, I watch a lot of stand-up, you know. I listen to stand-up in the car as well. I think it's me kind of living vicariously through them without me having to do stand-up. What I watch when I need to de-stress, documentaries do that for me. I also watch a lot of like car shows, whether it's like rebuilds or just the general tune-ups or look what I found in the backyard or, you know, whatever kind of show that is, or even like monster truck rallies or racing, you know, just kind of stuff that I can just stare at without, you know, thinking too much about it. So maybe not so much the tuning up because those guys explain a lot. Especially Jay Leno, that guy runs through the history of every nut and bolt on a car ever. What I watch that I'm currently obsessed with, I just started Foundation. You know, Foundation, I was on episode 1 and I'm hooked off of that. You know, and the usuals like Squid Games was crazy. The Boys, I'm waiting on the return of that show. Ray Donovan's got a movie coming out, so I'm watching the marathon of that. You know, I'm trying to catch, you know, as much TV as I can in between Jekyll and Hyde, basically.
Our next prisoner is Wallace Redding. Mr. Redding, we see by your file you've served 40 years of a life sentence.
That's right, sir.
What I watch when preparing for SNL, depending on the night, is probably another SNL, you know, depending on who's hosting, just to kind of catch up on what they did last and, you know, the kind of tones that they really succeeded in, you know, and try to mirror that and go forward, basically. So I think that the only teacher for that show probably is the show itself, you know, the backlog of, you know, shows and episodes and moments that you can learn from it's almost endless. You know, there's been so many moments for every situation. New president, new this, new that, whatever. You know, someone's, you know, been in those shoes before. So it's nice to go back and look at how they handled it and then try to compare to like what we're about to do and see if you can just match the enthusiasm, the funny, you know, the laughter and all of that. Because at the end of the day, it's all about presenting something that the world can relax and laugh, you know, about.
Keenan is the best. Coming up, a behind-the-scenes look at some of the more remarkable photos of the Queen.
NBC News, streaming free now.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson, streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
These are our missing daughters and sons.
We need anyone who saw something to come forward.
She was wearing a black jacket, a black top.
I'm going to bring my son home alive.
Dateline, Missing in America. Listen to the full season now. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
News is happening now.
To look at what's making headlines around the world.
We're coming on the air with breaking news.
This is a significant moment.
Whenever it happens, wherever you are, NBC News, streaming free now.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back, guys. Tributes and memories of Queen Elizabeth continue to pour in all around the world, and we thought we'd turn to a conversation we had recently with someone who often bared witness to her. Chris Jackson has captured images of the royal family for 20 years and shared some of his favorite shots with us.
I've been photographing the royal family for 20 years, and it is so special to look back on some of my favorite moments and my favorite pictures from, 2 decades of photographing this iconic family. There's one of the Queen which I really like, which she's in kind of a purple dress, and she's got a kind of slightly unusual expression. This particular photo is one of my favorite photographs for the Queen because it's slightly unusual, and it really kind of illustrates what is so important about photographing the Queen. It was taken in an opening of a maternity ward at the Lister Hospital, and there's a lovely background and the lights falling in a nice soft way, and it almost looked like it was taken in the studio. And the reason that I find this very special is every sort of day-to-day royal engagement, you may or may not get a picture that stands out in the royal collection for sort of tens or maybe even, if you're lucky, hundreds of years to come. And this was just a sort of day-to-day royal engagement, but everything came together in a moment to create something a little bit different. And that's what I love about photographing the Queen. You know, she is this iconic, historic person. If the light falls in the right way, if you're lucky to get a nice background, something a little bit different, you might get an image that sort of lives on in the collection. And that certainly doesn't happen every day. The actual day of the Queen's accession, the passing of her father, was the 6th of February, and this picture sort of represents that moment. And it's the Queen working on her iconic red box where she gets her notes and letters and where she does her work. And she's up at Sandringham in Norfolk, somewhere she feels, incredibly relaxed. that's what stood out for me. And, it's always an honor to be asked to take any photograph like this. So it was very special. So Trooping the Colour, the Queen's official birthday, is really one of the most important moments of the year for a royal photographer. And it's one of those kind of touch points where we see the royal family together on the balcony watching the fly pass. But we see them, we look back year after year, and it's like a reference point, I suppose. You watch the children grow up and you see the Queen at the centre of this growing family, and it's the look on the royals' faces as they look up as the RAF fly above them is really special. So it's definitely all the pomp and ceremony and the best that Britain has to offer on the day. This particular photograph I took at Trooping the Colour, it was a kind of pared down Trooping the Colour in the grounds of Windsor Castle, in the quadrangle of Windsor Castle during COVID. And of course it wasn't the normal Trooping the Colour, which of course is the Queen's official birthday celebrations, but this enabled me to sort of capture a slightly more creative moment, I suppose, using a slow shutter speed and getting the soldiers marching past the Queen. And it's quite difficult as a royal photographer to try and create something a little bit different because you're so constrained by time and often sort of positioning. But this was something a little bit different, and I was kind of happy with the result. So that was something a little bit more creative. This is one of my favourite photographs of the Queen and the Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall. So taken at the Highland Games, which is one of my favourite events to photograph up in Scotland, where the Queen and members of the royal family spend their summers. Clearly somewhere the Queen feels incredibly relaxed, and this particular photo was taken, I think, during the tug of war, during the Braemar Highland Games. I think the team had just fallen over, and the Queen and the Prince of Wales, Duchess of Cornwall, and the Duke of Edinburgh burst into hysterics. And it was just such a lovely moment, and it's definitely one of my favourite ones, a highlight of the year. Yeah, so it was a real privilege to take the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh's 73rd wedding anniversary photograph in Windsor Castle in the Oak Room, and it was during a difficult time after a COVID lockdown, and to see the Duke's face when he opened a card from his great-grandchildren, Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis, and it was that link between the generations at a time that was really difficult for people during COVID, and it's a more candid picture, and I think it tells more of a story. But to reach a 73rd wedding anniversary for any couple is an amazing achievement. The Queen has a lifelong love of animals, and dogs and horses in particular, and of course she's had her corgis and her doggies, and there's some lovely photographs of the Queen with her dogs, and it's clearly something that makes her happy. And of course horses, we see her at Royal Ascot at the Windsor Horse Show, and this is something that certainly makes her happy, and her passion for horse racing is probably absolutely her number one pastime, and that can't be denied. So it was fantastic to see her this year when it's been a little bit more difficult for her to attend events with her mobility issues. So there were some lovely photographs of the Queen watching the events from her car. I suppose one of the special things about being a royal photographer is watching and documenting the royal families, watching the changes, watching them grow. For me, the most incredible thing has been photographing, royal births and christenings. There's nothing more exciting than that, moments of national celebration. A new member of the royal family, it could be the birth of Prince Louis or Prince George. And of course, milestones for the Queen, such as the Diamond Jubilee. It goes to show how the Queen has this incredible ability to bring together the nation. We'll all remember her speech during COVID and how she was broadcast into the living rooms of the nation. She really inspired everyone to try and look on the positive side of things, and she has that amazing ability and unique ability.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and Chris certainly has the proofs to prove it. All right, there you have it, today's Pop Start Plus, and as always, we'll have more for you tomorrow. Until then, thanks for watching.
I love the city of Baltimore. I've been coming here for years, and if there's one thing I know, the city of Baltimore is serious about his crab.
I love Baltimore Crabs.
This is the stomp and grind of crabs.
And I've been eating crabs since the time I could sit up at a table.
It's a little spicy, salty, and savory all in one.
If I could describe the taste, you can't. You just have to try it. You just have to try it.
It's time to head out of Studio 1A and hit the road for a new kind of culinary adventure. Follow me as I taste some of the most iconic foods around the country and meet the families behind them. Together, we're going to learn how a good meal has the power to connect us to our past, our future, and each other. When you think Maryland, you got to think blue crab, an essential part of the state's culture and cuisine. And no place knows how to cook it up quite like Baltimore. I mean, just as many ways as you can count, you can find ways to eat crab. Of course, there's your basic, your steamed crab with the beautiful spices, and you just start whacking that bad boy. You can get all that beautiful meat out. You can get canned crab if you'd like. Of course, there's also the fabulous crab mac and cheese with a hot dog. There's the crab dip, there's your crab soup, and of course, the king of crab, the crab cake. Yes, but this is a cake that needs no icing. Crab cakes have been enjoyed by many for centuries throughout the Chesapeake region. But here in Baltimore, they're a way of life. And one of the city's most popular go-tos is tucked away just inside the world-famous Lexington Market.
We're headed back to Houston today, and we wanted to have the best crab cake in town.
We're from Orlando, glad to be here.
People been coming to Fiddly's for years.
Yes.
Ever since I was little, and I'm 25.
People from all around the world come here to Baltimore just to grab a bite of the famous Fiddly's crab cake. It's made with fresh Maryland crab and family love. Everybody looks the same. How are you, my dear?
Hello.
Hello, hello.
So good to see you.
How are you, sir? You looking good?
You're looking great. Got something for you.
All right. There you go.
There you go. You need one of those.
Oh, yeah.
There you are.
Now I'm feeling really crabby. Pardon me, I've got to get a lawyer because there's a clause I have to have checked. I've known the folks at Fiddly Seafood for years, but they've been serving up fresh crab cakes even longer.
Hi, I'm Nancy Fiddly Devine. I own Fiddly Seafood. It's been in my family now for, 4 generations, and the 5th is coming up, so we've been around a long time.
I think people are astonished to see my parents at 84 and 89 still working.
You can get another 5 cans and do a second batch if you need to with them.
People ask her for an autograph, they ask her for a picture, they ask her to hold their babies. You know, it's really fun.
I mean, here's this company that's been part of Baltimore for over 130 years.
Right.
What is it about your place that has people coming back?
Right. I think it's that people come in here and go right away. There's a warmth.
Uh-huh.
It's like walking to somebody's home that's they're happy to have you.
Uh-huh.
You know, come and you feel, oh my gosh, I feel at home. And I get people, we were here 20 years, it's exactly the same.
In fact, Fiddly still stands in its original location, founded here by John W. Fiddly Sr. in 1886. Started off as a seafood stall, but over the generations grew into a Baltimore tradition, led by Bill and Nancy Devine, along with their daughter.
Damie Hahn, and I am the 4th generation of Fiddly's, so I do everything.
Give them a little bit of a
smorgasbord of everything. Going over here to fillet a fish, over here to shuck an oyster, over there to steam a crab, back here to fry, up here to make a crab cake, back down on the phone, running in the shipping department. A tray like that is about, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bushels of crabs in order to get that tray. That's a lot of picking, and I don't think people realize how much work goes into getting an all jumbo lump.
Growing up, did you think you were going to end up here? You were going to be doing this?
No, but it was hard to get away from, and I couldn't see it going away. I couldn't see it ending with my parents. So
the pandemic hit.
Yes.
You really had to step up.
My father called me and I said, Dad, you guys cannot come in here. You know, we don't know anything about this virus and the effects, especially on the elderly. And I know you want to be here, but you can't. And he said, Damie, do whatever you do, whatever you can to make payroll. It just makes me cry when I think about it. He said, just make sure that we don't have to lay anybody off. I don't want to lay anybody off. I don't want anybody to lose their job. And we did it.
And I saw it back when I came here in the 90s, and I still see it today. This truly is a family.
Oh, it is a family. and it's funny because I often tell people, Mom and Dad don't treat the employees any differently than they treat me. And that's the God's honest truth.
Which can be a good or a bad.
That's the God's honest truth. And that's why you end up having so many multi-generation families staying here.
That's right. Fiddly's isn't just a family-owned business. It's run by family as well. Multiple generations of employees, father and daughter, father and son, mom and daughter, all building a home here.
I've been here since a junior in high school, so I've been doing the thing for a while.
I'm gonna say it's been around 33, 34 years.
And I started at the end of '79, a week before my son was born.
I started at 14 years old, and I'll be 42 years old in December.
It's always a challenge working with family. A lot of personalities, but you love each other, and it always works. You know, it always works well.
What's really, really bad is when your kids are grandmothers.
Mom, we were in the middle of an interview. Oh, you just broke in.
You have to start over?
Yes.
You were saying about the challenges of working with family?
It's just a few of them, you know? Just a few.
While the family spirit makes customers feel at home, it's Fiddly's crab cakes that keep them coming back.
What kind of oil do you cook your crab cakes in?
Soybean.
Soybean, thank you.
So excited to have this crab. And I watch people for the first time put it in their mouth and they go, oh my God. And they're standing at a table in a market. Yeah. They're not sitting down to a white tablecloth and having somebody serve it on a silver platter. It's on a paper plate, but it belongs on a silver platter.
Nancy created her recipe in 1987, saying she's never changed it. So, besides yourself, how many other people know the Fiddly's crab cake recipe?
Sleep with her, she won't tell me.
He doesn't even know how to make a cup of coffee. Why would I tell him?
So some people use breadcrumbs. You use crushed up saltines.
Broken saltines, yes. And not fine, because you have to use more. Now, and then this is the magic sauce.
This the secret sauce?
Yes.
So it's just enough to mix the ingredients
right.
together, nothing more.
That's right.
And the big ball of crab right there.
That's it.
Boom. Oh, look at this. Oh, boy. Oh. It was just like I remember eating it 26 years ago.
You know what? I'm told that all the time when people come in here. The best part about this is you haven't changed a thing.
Now this is a legacy. Now we know how the crabs end up, but how do they get them? Let's go find out. Coming up, the generations of black watermen who've made a living pulling in Maryland's most famous catch.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Let's go. This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. Appreciate it.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today.
We are going to start with some good news.
Doesn't it just feel good to be back to school?
Yes. This is so healthy.
Here's what's happening in York.
The crowd is ready. SG, you ready?
Refresh and reorganize for fall.
Start today.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Yamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
The Chesapeake Bay men and women who work these waters are probably just as famous as the legendary catch that they pull out. And in fact, it's backbreaking work that is passed on from generation to generation, including blackjacks. Those were the black watermen who worked these waters all the way back into the 1800s and are a vital part of this community. The Chesapeake Bay is home to a vast variety of seafood, but none as valuable or as well known as the blue crab. The catch here makes up over a third of the nation's supply, and on average, more than 50 million pounds of blue crabs are harvested from the bay.
I'm Captain Tyrone Meredith, charter boat captain, owner, and operator of the Island Queen II.
Captain Meredith knows these waters well. He grew up on them.
I'm the fourth generation waterman, and my great-grandfather, he worked on the water, my grandfather, and my father. We've been here ever since the 1860s, making a living, working on the Chesapeake Bay.
This has been the way of life for generations of watermen here in Kent Narrows, a town just 50 miles south of Baltimore. For hundreds of years, they've caught, processed, and sold blue crabs to markets up and down the eastern shore. By the mid to late 1800s, Kent Narrows had also become one of many unlikely havens on the bay for free and enslaved African Americans.
There's more black watermen anywhere on the whole East Coast, probably in the United States.
Those watermen, also known as blackjacks, forged their path to liberation on the water. Their expertise essential to the booming seafood industry. So much so, the government granted some black watermen Seamen's Protection Certificates, providing sailors with American citizenship and a path to economic freedom.
Hey, Lois, I'm coming up on you now. Okay, I got you. Yeah? How'd it biting today?
This morning it did pretty good. Well, being out here is your own boss. You do what you want to do and got nobody to tell you, go get me this or go get me that.
75-year-old Lewis Carter still finds that same sense of freedom on the water today. He's also one of the last generations of black watermen alive. Every morning, before the sun rises, he sets out to catch crabs in the bay.
I started in 1961, I was about 15, and I've been at it ever since. Right now, I'm going down the line, and when I get to the other end, I'll throw it off. Crabs will come up on that bait. The pressure from the water pushes them back in this dipper. Okay, these are the big, large males. You put them in one basket. That's a female with red claws. Put them in one basket.
He's one of the last Mohegans left. There's not too many people that still make a living from the water. Most of them moved away, got other jobs, and it's changing because it's harder to make a living from the bay.
Crabbing season runs from spring into late fall, but changes in climate, cost, and labor have made each successive year more challenging. As younger generations take up new trades, there are less people working the waters and ultimately fewer black watermen.
Back when I started, it was a plenty black watermen, but they died out and the younger ones never taking their place. In one way, it makes me feel bad, you know, and I don't think it'll be no chance of more black watermen. I really do believe that.
Captain Meredith estimates there are fewer than a dozen black watermen on the bay. Like many of his peers, he's had to turn to other work.
Back when I was crabbing teenager, I caught high as 50 bushel a day. Right now, crabbers catching 2 or 3 bushel a day. Now I started running charters, fishing charters, because crabbing started declining and the fishing was more lucrative money-wise.
And educational. His charters are an opportunity to keep stories of the blackjacks alive for generations ahead. Although tradition on these waters is changing, one thing remains the same.
Nothing tastes like the Chesapeake Bay Maryland crab. It's got that certain taste to them, and it's the only place like that in the world is the Chesapeake Bay blue crab.
Next, an up-and-coming Baltimore chef inspired by his family's love of cooking.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Live from Ukraine, from Uvalde, Texas, from Mayfield, Kentucky. To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told. No. Do you remember any tornado as bad as this one? You look at this and you're thinking, we're not going to have power for weeks, if not months. Exactly. Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. This is so healthy. Doesn't it just feel good to be back to school?
It does.
Start today.
News is happening now. Look at what's making headlines around the world.
We're coming on the air with breaking news.
This is a significant moment.
Whenever it happens, wherever you are, NBC News, streaming free now.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today.
We are going to start with some good news.
Doesn't it just feel good to be back to school?
It does.
This is so healthy.
Here's what's happening in York.
The crowd is ready. SG, you ready?
Refresh and reorganize for fall.
Start today.
NBC News, streaming free now.
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Back in Baltimore, a new generation is putting a spin on the crab cake.
I'm Alex Perez. I'm the owner of Poppy Cuisine.
I'm an artist at heart, so cooking, the arts of culinary, that's something that I'm very passionate about. Not necessarily having a recipe to go off of, and just getting in the kitchen, freestyling, and coming up with a masterpiece.
It's that freestyling approach that brings people through these doors, clamoring for a taste.
Crab is king in Baltimore, so you're going to see crab cakes, crab cake fries, crab cake egg rolls. Everyone's been going crazy over it as well.
This is the bomb.
So I just come back for that, and I enjoy it every time I come here.
We actually live in D.C., so we rode all the way up here an hour just to come here.
Right now I'm drizzling our warhead and our aioli sauces on it. I have family from the Dominican Republic. I'm Afro-Latino. I'm Black on my mother's side. And pretty much has always had a love for food and cooking food, eating food. So learning how to cook from my dad. So my dad taught me how to cook at the age of 10. I grew up, watching my grandmother cook a lot as well. So I started pretty much combining the foods that I learned to cook from my grandmother with the foods I learned how to cook from my father. And that's kind of like how the whole Poppy cuisine, was born in her kitchen, essentially.
That was 8 years ago. While working a full-time job, Alex began building a new business on the side, catering food out of his grandma's kitchen. In February 2020, he was finally able to open a restaurant. Then, the pandemic hit.
Of course, a month later, we get the news that we had to shut down and only do takeout. So that just opened up the floodgates, essentially. And you had people standing in line, hundreds of people on the block in that mass, cars double parked up and down the streets. And it was mayhem.
During a global crisis, the city Alex was born and raised in rallied around him. Now, Poppy Cuisine is packed with locals and tourists alike. But the chef stays true to his roots, running it with close family and friends.
My little sister, Natasha.
Hi.
How's it going?
Natasha, my big bro, Alex.
I can employ family members, friends, and so forth, that people who I grew up with, people that I'm close to, and it's very rewarding,
Coming up, I'm going to grab my apron and join Alex and Grandma Gloria for a lesson in cooking crab.
Live from Ukraine, from Uvalde, Texas, from Mayfield, Kentucky. To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told. No. Do you remember any tornado as bad as this one? You look at this and you're thinking, we're not going to have power for weeks, if not months.
Exactly.
Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
News is happening now.
Look at what's making headlines around the world.
We're coming on the air with breaking news.
This is a significant moment.
Whenever it happens, wherever you are, NBC News, streaming free now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? Hey, Miss Lester. Hey, who's this?
The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
I wanted to meet Alex and his grandma Gloria, the inspiration behind his cooking. So I dropped by their kitchen to say hello.
Well, I know I picked up from my grandmother, my mother-in-law, and just put my own spin on certain dishes. I didn't follow it to the recipe to the letter.
So you're able to ad-lib a little bit.
Yeah, but he's always asked me when I fix a dish, well, what did you put in this? How did you do this? And I would tell him, I said, you don't have to follow to the letter, put your own spin.
And Alex has done just that, turning the classic crab cake into an egg roll. Genius! The ingredients, simple. A pound of jumbo lump crab, panko breadcrumbs, aged cheddar cheese, egg roll wrappers, and a couple of sauces and microgreens to top it off. There's the star of the show, the crab meat. Put on an apron. I've got rubber gloves on. All right, the patient's ready. So how do we get started, Alex?
Yeah, so first what you want to do is we have some Maryland jumbo lump crab here. So for the most part, I shouldn't have much shells in, but typically I like to sift through it. Just gotta see if there's any shells, and if so, you can put the shells right back in this container.
There you go. So Gloria, did you know you were helping raise a culinary genius?
Well, no, but I know he liked to eat.
This sauce particular is our crab sauce mix. So we're gonna drizzle a little bit at a time, because I don't wanna put too much, just enough to bind.
You got enough for Al?
Yep, I think I'll have enough.
She's staying on me. I like this. I like this lady.
This is why I'm so particular about, when I'm doing things in the kitchen. Gonna start actually rolling these things up. Yes.
Why do you think this recipe is so popular at the restaurant, the most popular?
Well, I think because it pretty much gives you the ability to take a Baltimore favorite and make it handheld and on the go. It's throw in your hand and
street
eat.
Food.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons it's very popular, other than the taste as well.
Right. Well,
yeah, because that's
you can take it with you, but if it doesn't taste good,
exactly.
You're gonna come back for it.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take like a pinch of crab. It's around like a quarter cup or so. They're gonna sit in the middle.
Not too much?
Yeah, we want to take a little bit out, a little pinch out. Actually, we want to put a little bit more in. Yeah.
Which is it?
All right, so that's perfect right there. That's perfect. And we're gonna literally fold them up envelope style.
What is it about cooking and family that is so important?
Yeah, I think for me, living a busy life as a business owner and a dad, a husband, and things like that, I feel like food is an opportunity for family to come together, talk about things, especially if you haven't seen each other in a long time. And it's a way for us to connect. So,
Is it true you've never done this before?
No, I haven't. It's true.
Oh. Could have fooled me that you never did this before. Look at that. Bam! Done!
Faster than I did.
Wow! Wow! It's a natural grandma thing. Love it. So now we're going to get the deep fryer up here and fry these bad boys up.
Oh, absolutely.
Woo! If you had to describe the heart of your cuisine, what is it, and how does Baltimore kind of is part of that?
Pretty much my story, and I think that connects very well to our Baltimore, because I grew up here, all my life, and I think everything that I faced during the time that I started this company up until now, I've been transparent about, and it resonated very well with the people in Baltimore, and they watched my journey through the years, and I feel like that's really the heart of what I do.
Make sure
something crisp around the edges and things like that. So that's why I keep turning them, so it doesn't fry on one particular side too much. And just want to even fry.
Ooh.
Nice and golden.
So you want to cut these diagonally. So I'm going to drizzle. This is our aioli sauce, house made, and this is our warhead sauce right here. So the sauce is kind of sweet, has a tangy bite to it.
Oh, kind of like Gloria.
Yep, that's right.
Well, I guess there's only one thing left to do.
Yeah, and that's the piece.
Yes, yes. Crab cake egg roll.
Here we go.
Wow. Chef Alex, you have done Baltimore proud.
Thank you.
Our time here in Baltimore is coming to an end. We tried the traditional crab cake, tasted a modern spin with crab cake egg rolls, and even went straight to the source on the Chesapeake Bay. At the center of it all, one thing still ringing true: food tastes better when you eat it with family.
Shop Today editorial director Adriana Brock, and I know shopping trends. I seek out new and notable products so you don't have to in Editor's Picks.
I'm Shop All Day contributor Makon Jovu, and I'm bringing you industry insiders and those in the know to share all the buzzworthy products sweeping social media and influencer trends.
And I'm lifestyle expert Erica Domasek. I'm here with products and projects you can buy to DIY. The best part is anyone can do this. This is Shop All Day Home Refresh.
Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Adriana Brock, and today we are sharing items we found to upgrade and refresh your home on a budget. From a simple product that makes your faucet touch-free to an elegant baking dish that goes seamlessly from the oven to the table. And see that QR code at the corner of your screen? You guys know what to do. Use the camera on your smartphone to scan it right now for instant access to all of the products on the show today. So let's get to it. Okay, now that fall is finally here, I have the perfect oven dish for you guys. It's from Joanna Gaines' Target line, Hearth in Hand with Magnolia. So of course she thought of a beautiful designed piece for the kitchen that's also really versatile. So what this does, it lets you take your cooking from the oven to the dining table to make it easy to serve the whole family. I love this dish, it's so beautiful, it's really large, so you can make a full meal for the family in it. And it comes with this beautiful stand with these wooden handles, and all you do is you pop it in, and then you could literally take it to the table and serve the whole family. And if you're having a dinner party, you can also use it as a salad dish to serve your guests. This is an incredible, versatile piece that you're gonna want in the kitchen this season. Another must-have in the kitchen is this Immersion Blender. We love it at today.com. It is a handheld one, so you use it in place of your bulky blender, and it's so affordable. I love this thing. It comes with 3 interchangeable attachments, so you can blend, whisk, and froth it all. I'm talking everything from blending up soups to mixing batter, and the brand says that you can even crush ice in the morning to make your smoothie on the go, or froth some milk to make a cappuccino or hot chocolate for the kids. It is a kitchen workhorse that does all the work for you without taking up a bunch of counter space. Cleaning it is so easy. All you have to do is detach the attachments, throw them in the dishwasher, and you're good to go. So this next one I recently bought for my home because I had a paper towel holder that was way too small for those large paper towel rolls that I've been buying. So this is a small kitchen upgrade that can make all the difference. It's such an inconvenience when you have your paper towel roll, your hands are dirty, and you just need the perfect size tear. This one from OXO is really great because it has a spring-loaded arm right here, and it fits different size rolls no matter how thick or thin. It's got a gripped attachment right here that's gonna keep it in place. And then the base is actually weighted, so it gives it stability. And then when you're busy in the kitchen, whether you're cooking or the kids are running around, it's gonna give you the perfect one-handed tear each time, so no more unraveling rolls or messy tears. It's one of those small inconveniences you never thought about, but now that I have something like this, I don't know how I live without it. And if you've ever wanted to upgrade your faucet with one of those touchless versions, here's a really affordable solution for under $40. It is a motion sensor faucet, and you can upgrade the faucet that you already have with this. So what it does is it comes with this adapter that you put over your existing faucet. So all you have to do is unscrew it, you take out the aerator, you add a filter in, and then you use a wrench to put it on, and you're gonna see there's a motion sensor in the front and in the bottom. This is so great when you're cooking and you need to quickly rinse your produce, you need to wash your hands, or you have little ones running around the house. This is awesome because they can wash their hands. You don't have to worry about wasting water or leaving the water running on accident. And the brand says that one charge of these can last for up to 9 months. So super easy to use, very user-friendly, affordable, and great for saving water. But one thing to note is that you're gonna wanna check the compatibility chart on the website to make sure that it fits your faucet at home. And moving into the living room, if you are binge watching TV, you need one of these couch coasters. It is such a game changer. It's basically a weighted cup holder that goes over your couch or your recliner's armrest. It gives you easy access to your drink, and it's great if you don't have an end table nearby on one side of the couch. It has a non-slip silicone arm that goes over each part of the rest, and it gives it stability. What's really cool about this too is that it has a slip for a mug, or you can use one of the cool adapters that comes with it, so you can fit cans. The brand says you could fit bottles, mugs, cups, anything, you name it. It's such a game changer. You're gonna want it on your couch all season long. and it's just $25. And moving into the bathroom, we found a super affordable, high-pressure shower head that's gonna transform your sacred shower time in the morning. Sometimes the shower is the only place I can get some peace and quiet. So with the shower head that's super affordable, you get strong pressure, steady water flow, and wide coverage area, and it's a standard size. You can't beat the price on this, and the brand says that installation is actually pretty easy. You don't really need tools, just a little bit of muscle and some plumber's tape that's included. Plus, it comes in 3 different finishes from chrome to brushed nickel and black. Okay, and this last one is awesome. I never knew I would want a stone mat until I tried this one. So shout out to my husband for introducing it to me, and it is truly an upgrade from our old bath mat. So let me introduce you to the Sutera stone bath mat. It's made with diatomaceous earth, which is known to be a great...
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson. Streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Live from Ukraine, from Uvalde, Texas, from Mayfield, Kentucky. To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told. No. Do you remember any tornado as bad as this one? You look at this and you're thinking, we're not going to have power for weeks, if not months. Exactly. Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to today. This is so healthy. Doesn't it just feel good to be back to school?
It does.
Start today.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this?
These days, it feels like the news never stops. So let's get into it. What's happening right now, what it all means for you for an hour every day. It can be hard to keep up, so let's get started together.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now. Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
I've watched it literally absorb water before my eyes, and you don't have to worry about washing it. I love this thing. And it does come with a little sanding paper, which is really nice. You use it every few months to keep it nice and clean and refresh the stone, but it does last for a while. I've had mine right now for about 2 to 3 years. All right, let's run through the products one more time. The oven to table baking dish, the Immersion Blender, the paper towel holder, the couch coaster, the touchless faucet adapter, the high pressure shower head, and the stone bath mat. And just so you know, Today works with affiliate partners and earns a commission on purchases made through our links at today.com. That's it for Editor's Picks. Up next, McCohen Lobu is talking to author and organizing expert Janelle Cohen. She's gonna share some of her favorite go-to items to keep every shelf and closet in your home flawlessly tidy. Don't go away.
Hi there, welcome back. I'm McCohen Lobu, and this is Influencer Trends, where I'll be talking to industry insiders and they'll share their favorite products and the must-have items to shop for right now. And don't forget the QR code at the corner of your screen. Use the camera on your smartphone and scan it to shop these products. Today, we're talking all about our homes and how to not only keep them cozy and clean, but also perfectly organized. I'm excited to have author and organizing expert Janelle Cohen joining us to share her favorite ways to keep your home organized, plus the products to help you do it. Hi, Janelle. How are you?
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Oh, we are so excited that you're here. You are an organizing expert. Let's talk about how you got started.
So I actually got started because my mom has this amazing walk-in pantry and it just wasn't maximized. And I was like, you know what would be a great Mother's Day gift? I'm going to go on Pinterest. I'm going to redo my mom's pantry for her. I always have been very organized and I redid it for her for Mother's Day. I took before and afters and then I posted them on Facebook because I was like really proud of myself. I thought I did a great job. And that was 5 years ago now.
Wow, and you've had quite the journey. So when it comes to organizing, and I'm looking at my house or people watching looking at their house, what do you start with? The big project, or do you attack the smaller projects first?
So I think it's really important. I like to share with my clients that they can do it themselves. There's always going to be a spot where we have clutter. You figure out a solution based on your habits. We have things that we naturally do. So I always say work with them rather than against them, rather than being like, oh, I always take my shoes off here and there's always shoes and it's so annoying. Right. Be nicer to yourself and be like, this is where I take my shoes off, so I'm gonna put a shoe rack.
So let's say we're attacking a corner for 5 minutes. We have items that we have emotional ties to, and sometimes it's hard to just kind of purge guilt-free. So what advice do you have for people when we're trying to purge and feel good about what we're purging?
I always say that when it comes to sentimental attachment, sometimes you have to close your eyes and think, is that memory in my head? Do I have a strong memory or do I need that physical attachment? I'm looking around my home right now and I can see things to me that are sentimental, right? But I put them on display and use them in my home. They're not stuffed in a cabinet. So if you have sentimental items and they really mean something, frame it, use it, put it to use. I mean, we live once, right? It doesn't need to sit in the cabinet protected. Put it out.
So Janelle, you're actually an author, which is amazing. Your book is called The Folding Book. And going through it, I realized that I really don't know how to fold the right way. So if you could indulge me, how do we fold the proper way?
So I'm gonna start by saying there's no right way to fold, right?
Good.
Whatever the right way is whatever you're gonna actually do. You wanna set goals and then be able to accomplish them, not reach for something that's not realistic to your life. But the proper way is always to file fold. So basically what that means is that when you fold your clothes, rather than putting one on top of the other, you put them in like a file cabinet. So think of like you're looking through your file cabinet for papers. It's like that, but with your clothes. So you can very easily see what you have. You see your whole inventory and nothing's getting lost at the bottom. So everything has an equal opportunity to be worn.
Okay, I got a lot of work ahead of me. All right, let's dive in to these products that you brought here. I'm really excited about this. I want to get started with the tissue box cover. This is great for a high traffic area.
A tissue box holder is actually a very underrated way to really level up your space. And adding a cover just makes it so seamless and such an easy, simple way to make a useful item also pretty.
Yeah, it is very pretty. Now let's move on to the Lazy Susan, which is great for storing your condiments. You can use it in multiple places in your home or your apartment, right?
Oh yes, the Lazy Susan is my ultimate organizing product. It makes everything super visible. Now this is a big one, which is great if you have a deep cabinet. You have a big pantry and there's all this stuff in the back that you can't see. The Lazy Susan makes it so everything is visible. It's also great underneath your bathroom sink or your kitchen sink. You can put cleaning products on. Nothing gets lost in the back. It's truly the greatest organizing product.
It really is. And Lazy Susan needs a rebrand. She's hardworking Susan, because this is so great. All the different ways you can use it. Let's move on to the lid organizer. Let's talk about the different places that you can use it. You can use it in your cabinets or your countertops as well, right?
Definitely. Everybody always says, what do I do with my lids, my pots and pans? It's always so stressful. The lid organizer is the perfect way. If you have a drawer that you keep them in, you can always stick this in the drawer. Sometimes the bigger ones don't fit, so you can lay those flat and then put all the small ones lined up. See what sizes you have. Make sure everything matches up. But you also can put it sideways in a cabinet and then you'll see all of the lids lined up. Or you can put pans in there too.
Oh, you can fit the pans in there so everything is nice and all together. there. I love
put
that.
the pans in there. You can put sheet pans in there. You name it.
I love it. Let's move on to the cable organizer. So I love the way that this looks. It's just so aesthetically pleasing. Can I still charge my devices even though they're in the cable organizer?
100%. So basically what that box does is it hides the power strip. So it hides where you're putting all of the cables and everything. So let's say you're plugging your iPhone charger in there and you want to be able to sit your phone right on top, or it be the perfect length to your bed or your couch. All you have to do is just wrap the cord to the length you need, stick the cord, the ugly part, inside the box, put the lid on, and the cord just funnels out the side. It's great. It really makes it not an eyesore.
It really does. And look, the opening here is on both sides. Okay, I'm obsessed. Let's move on to the next item here. We have this 4-pack. These frames are so beautiful. I'm thinking about putting these in my entryway, but then I think about putting them in my bedroom. I don't know where to start.
Oh, you can put them anywhere. I think a lot of people get scared to make a place home. If you have a rental, like use some command strips, do anything. Put pictures on the wall of your family, of your friends, of the people you love, of your pet, of whatever. I have a gallery wall in my dining room with pictures of my family and everything. And it just, like you walk in and it's clearly my home, right? And it feels special and it makes the place have that, like you're grounded in your space. And that's a really important feeling to have. These are so cute because they're all the same. So it really makes it impossible to mess up. You can do a grid.
Or you could do one in each room too, right?
Exactly. And I like to put them all in black and white because then all the pictures blend together. It's almost like artwork.
Oh, it is. And a beautiful way to introduce artwork into your home. Okay, and this I love right here because this is an under the sink organizer. Are these adjustable? Because I feel like you can put in items of different heights on here, right?
Exactly. I think that the great thing about these is that under the bathroom sink or under the kitchen sink, you could use them as well. We don't use vertical space, right? You put things on the bottom of underneath the sink and you're like, look at all of this dead space. Right. I mean, I feel like I could fit so much more. This makes it so that you can level up your space and really fit a lot more. So it's great because you can fit hair products on there, big hairsprays, and then you can do smaller skincare on top. You could even put little boxes on the top to divide smaller items. If you want to put your hair ties on there, it's really a great way to maximize that space.
Right? I love items like this because you can use it anywhere. And Janelle, you have one more for us. This is where you can store your water bottles?
Yes, it's a wine rack, but it shouldn't be limited. It's so great. You can put it in your cabinet or wherever. You can easily slide your water bottles on and off. It's incredible. So instead of having to put all of your water bottles on the shelf like this and then they all fall over and you can't find the one you need with the lid you want, there, now you're using the space. You can see everything you have, slide it in, slide it out. Super easy. Game changer too.
It really is, and such a great housewarming gift as well. Janelle,
definitely.
This was amazing. I feel like you've given me a lot of homework, so I'm thankful for that. Thank you so much for stopping by today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. This was super fun.
Oh, our pleasure. Thank you, Janelle. All right, now let's run through all the products one more time.
The tissue box cover, the Lazy Susan turntable, the storage lid organizer, the cable organizer box, the under the sink organizers, the multi-purpose wall frames, and the bottle rack.
And just so you know, Today works with affiliate partners and earns a commission on purchases made through our links at today.com. Up next, founder of PS I Made This, Erica Domasek, is here to share simple DIY projects to spruce up your space. Don't go away.
The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. This is so healthy. Doesn't it just feel good to be back to school?
It does.
Start today.
News is happening now.
Look at what's making headlines around the world.
Right now on Morning News Now.
We're coming on the air with breaking news.
And this is a significant moment.
Whenever it happens, wherever you are,
NBC News, streaming free now.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. This is so healthy. Doesn't it just feel good to be back to school?
It does.
Start today.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson. Streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
Let's go. This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. I appreciate it.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Let's go. This is a critical choke point for this fire. And good evening from New Orleans. Nice to really spend some time with you. I appreciate
Hi, I'm lifestyle expert and founder of PSI Made. This is Erica Damasek. After a super summer, it's officially fall, which means it's time to refresh and revamp your home for the new season. Now, making big changes can get expensive, so today we have some projects that you can do right at home for just a fraction of the cost. And don't worry, we promise anyone can do them. From unique artwork that kids can really get into to the easiest fall floral arrangements, we've got you covered. We have all the products you need for the project, along with very simple steps to make this happen. And remember, see the QR code at the corner of your screen? You can use the camera on your smartphone to scan it for instant access to the products on the show today. So let's get to it. Let's kick it off with a simple project that can make a big impact. It's no secret that florals can spruce up any room, and there's so many trendy ways to bring color and texture into the home. So for me, what I love to do during the fall is get bunches of faux flowers and make arrangements. When you walk into the house, you want to feel the autumn season, and this is the best way to do it. It's really inexpensive, and the best part is you probably have everything at home. You just need some faux materials. Now, these are just flowers. These are a mix between things like dried pampas, which you've probably seen before. These things are called bunny tails. We even have some dried eucalyptus. I know this sounds confusing. All you have to do is get the bunches. They're already pre-selected and designed for you. The hardest thing you're gonna have to do is try to figure out what vase to use. Now, I'm gonna take some here, and I'm gonna take a look at my height. As you can see here, that can totally work, but I might trim it a little bit. Now, these are great scissors. These are by Fiskars, but if you have floral scissors at home, those work too. And I just start to throw them in a vase and spread them around. Now, as you put them in, you wanna fluff them up a little bit. It's the simplest way to spruce up any corner of a house. And the best part is, it will last for a very long time. Now, I'm even gonna strip off some of the bottom, snip the bottoms, and again, just continue to decorate. It looks so cute. This is great for a powder room. You can use a smaller vase, or if you have a really pretty entryway with a big table, you can make it taller. You can really get creative. Look how cute this looks. Now, don't forget, you don't have to use all the bunches in one vase. You can spread it out into smaller ones, just like we did here. Super cute. Now, let's talk gallery walls. They're a gorgeous way to showcase art and photos, but after a while, you might be looking for a way to change it up. Well, I have a project for you, and it's fun for the whole family, and it will also add an instant refresh to your walls. Now, this isn't just any ordinary frame. This is one of my favorite type of frames. It's a perfect way to display artwork. It opens up, kind of like a book, and you can slide your artwork right in there. Now, the fun twist for fall is what we like to do in my house. We take leaves we collect from around the neighborhood and simply put them under some drawing paper, get our crayons, remove the wrappers, quick tip, dip them in a little bit of warm water, and the paper comes right off. and you're simply gonna rub over your leaf to get a beautiful textured leaf print like this. I like to layer them so it's really fun. And especially for fall, you can incorporate new colors into your gallery wall. It's super chic, and guess what? You can keep changing them out. That's why these frames are so awesome. Personally, for me, the oak is what I keep in my house because it's a lighter vibe, but depends on your style and your home. There's white, there's black, whatever works, there's something there for you. Have a stain on your table runner or tablecloth? We have a solution for you that will give it an instant upgrade. Now, this is not your typical project. This is not tie-dye. You are looking at an ice dye runner that is so fun, and it only takes a few minutes. But just be warned, it might get messy, so I have gloves that everybody will need. Now, the ingredients you need for this, aside for some protective gloves, are a table runner or a tablecloth. You're gonna need some dye. This right here is just a cookie rack that I had and an aluminum tray. Last but not least, you're gonna need the ice. Now, here's how to do this. First step, you're gonna take your runner. This is just plain white. Keep in mind, cotton looks best. It doesn't matter what you're dyeing, just make sure it's a cotton material. That way it'll absorb the dye perfectly. Now your first step is you wanna take your runner and you wanna submerge it into water. Now I've already gone ahead to get it nice and wet here. And as you can see, it's already been rinsed out a little bit. So it's damp, it's wet, but it's not drippy. You wanna take your cloth, put it directly onto the wire rack. Now I'm scrunching it, which will end up giving the dye a really cool effect, which is perfect. Next up, it's the ice. Now you wanna make sure you have crushed ice. It doesn't have to be that fine, but you don't want big chunks. And you're simply gonna take big scoops and place the ice right on top of the cloth material, like I'm doing here. Now you want everything to be covered in ice. Once the top is completely covered, now you get to sprinkle dye all over it. My tip for you is don't go crazy. It's gonna spread. I know it doesn't look like that, but take a look. We're gonna start with colors that I personally love. These are jewel tones. I think it's great for fall, but really do whatever colors speak to you. And you're simply gonna sprinkle directly onto the ice. Yes, I'm telling you, this is gonna work. And you're gonna sprinkle around in sections. Now keep in mind, you don't wanna over sprinkle because it will spread. And you're gonna use different colors to sprinkle on top of the ice. Give them a little room because you don't want your dyes to bleed too much. A little bit is great, just kind of like when you tie-dye. It's fun to see colors overlap, but you don't want it to look too muddy. And the whole style of this is really this broken dye look that looks so organic and fun. Keep in mind using warm colors, cool colors, anything works. Pop a colors always are really cute to do. It's gonna add a little bit of yellow in here. Now, once the ice starts to melt, it's gonna all melt directly into our aluminum basin. If you don't have an aluminum basin, which honestly you can pick up at maybe a dollar store, you probably have a cookie tray or something in the house that you can use. I like to use what I have at home. This is another project that's a great way to repurpose something you have at home to bring new life into it. And your guests will be so shocked when they come over and they actually comment on your runner and you get to tell them, yes, I made this. Now, depending on how much ice you have and how large your surface is, it will take different times. It might take a couple hours. You can even leave it overnight. Another pro tip I have for you, use a hairdryer to help your ice start to melt. This will speed up the process and you'll also be able to see the melting of the dye happen right before your eyes. Now, when all the ice melts through, you're ready for the full reveal. Keep in mind, it's gonna be a little damp, so don't take it out unless it's over a tub or a sink. You don't want it to drip anywhere. Let your runner dry completely. I suggest leaving it overnight somewhere. You can hang it on a hanger or a surface that is covered so it doesn't stain anything. And it will come out looking so gorgeous. I love the one that we made here. It's so perfect for fall, and I can use it season after season. I hope you guys love it. I can't wait to see when you make one. Let's take a look again at everything we made today. We've got the floral arrangements, the leaf artwork, and the DIY table runner. And just so you know, Today works with affiliate partners and earns a commission on purchases made through our links at today.com. And that's a wrap. It's been so fun showing you all of our favorites. Tune in next week for another episode of Shop All Day.
This is crazy. This is like, it's like the best floral arrangement I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I'm Sama Dada. I'm a cookbook author and recipe developer in the plant-based food scene, which is becoming more innovative every day. I'm on a mission to see how startups, restaurants, and chefs are changing the way we see and eat plants. And I can't wait to show you how to bring more delicious dishes into your kitchen.
I love mushrooms. I mean, I really, really love mushrooms. They are an essential part of a plant-based lifestyle because they're such an easy swap for meat. But I've got lots of questions about fungi. How do they grow? Where do they grow? And which types have the most unique texture? I'm gonna learn all about their culinary range with chef and mushroom enthusiast, my friend, Sophia Rowe. Then I'll travel to Colorado to see how mushroom roots are being transformed into a hearty new protein. But first, I want to learn some basics, so I'm heading out to Smallholds, an innovative farm in Brooklyn, New York. Let's go.
When you think about mushrooms, you probably think of those capped little fungi. But there are literally thousands of edible mushrooms out there, and no, I'm not talking about that kind of mushroom.
A lot of people think that they don't like mushrooms because they're used to eating the same mushroom, and they think all mushrooms are the same, but they're not. It's like saying you don't like mushrooms is like saying you don't like plants. Like the differences between a trumpet and an oyster and a button mushroom, it's like saying like an almond tree versus a head of lettuce and an apple. You know, they're very different.
Andrew Carter and Adam DiMartino founded Smallholds, an organic mushroom farm, in 2017. They share a passion for rare mushroom varieties and want to bring those tastes and textures to more people.
There's a whole kingdom out there, and everyone's used to eating the same mushroom. A white and a brown mushroom and a portobello mushroom, they're all the same mushroom.
That's right, white button, cremini, and portobello are all the same type of mushroom. Their scientific name is agaricus, if you want to be fancy about it.
The industry grows those because that's what they're used to growing. Consumers are used to consuming those. You can look at other regions, like if you go to China or Japan or Korea, the mushroom industry is way more advanced than it is here. It's like consumers in certain regions are eating 10 to 20 times as much mushrooms as people are in the United States.
So what were your first steps to starting Smallhold?
The early beginning was building out a lab in a basement at a house, and it looked crazy.
Andrew and Adam started experimenting with trumpet mushrooms. After perfecting the process, they expanded to shiitake and oyster. In just 5 years, that basement startup moved into a shipping container, then to their first farm in Brooklyn. The company has grown rapidly with funds from dozens of investors and a soaring demand for mushrooms.
Over the last few years is that people really started getting interested in food as medicine, trying to eat less meat, trying to be sustainable, trying to eat local. All of these things ended up just kind of centering around mushrooms.
In 2020, organic mushroom sales grew by 20%. Feeding that demand, Smallholds now grows 15 different types of mushrooms, producing a whopping 1.5 million pounds each year for hundreds of grocery stores and restaurants. Mushrooms are grown by a process called inoculation. A spore is placed deep inside a substrate, like a log. The spores germinate, then feed on the wood, growing into mycelium, or mushroom roots.
This fruiting body is probably like 4 or 5 days old.
It takes about 4 weeks for the roots to be fully grown. That's when cute baby mushrooms, called pins, start to appear on the surface. In about a week, they're ready to harvest.
Fungi are its own kingdom. They're functionally more similar to animals than they are like plants. They breathe in oxygen, they release CO2, they digest stuff, they don't go through photosynthesis, and so their interaction with the environment is just so different than plants.
Traditional mushroom farms cultivate their fungi in mulch with a mix of hay, straw, and corn cob. But Smallhold is focused on growing in urban areas to make the entire operation more sustainable. City farms might seem strange, but fungi don't require a lot of light, water, or space to thrive.
Our mushrooms, we grow, they're called saprotrophic mushrooms, and so they're wood-loving mushrooms. They digest wood. All of the substrates that we're using, that's the stuff that's inside of this block. About 90% of it is sawdust.
Smallhold's mushrooms are grown in bags filled with a compound from mills and factories, so they're reusing a byproduct from the timber industry. And those futuristic containers don't just look cool.
And so these chambers themselves have really intricate controls over all the climate that they're exposed to.
That allows them to forego pesticides. Plus, the fragile mushrooms aren't susceptible to extreme weather. Can you walk me through the environmental impact of growing mushrooms?
It's one of the most sustainable products you can probably find in the grocery store. We did a big life cycle analysis, which is large, like third-party analysis to understand exactly what's going on with your company. Our carbon impact was about 30% less than any other mushroom farm we could find.
Over 60% of the country's mushrooms are grown in one Pennsylvania county, which means it takes a lot of fuel to ship them across the country.
So a lot of mushrooms are actually imported from overseas, and so the carbon footprint of those is really crazy.
Smallhold's mushrooms are grown in Brooklyn, Los Angeles, and Austin, Texas. They also operate over a dozen mini farms, custom-built tanks that can grow mushrooms inside restaurants and grocery stores. With farms in strategically placed cities, Smallhold plans to reduce carbon emissions by continuing to ship locally.
When you're buying a product from Smallhold, like a fresh mushroom in a grocery store, it was grown close to there. And so we have a national brand, like you can be from New York and go to LA and recognize Smallhold on the shelf, but those mushrooms were grown in LA.
Most mushrooms also have a naturally meaty texture, which makes them a great vegetarian swap.
The more people eat these products, generally speaking, they're eating less meat, whether they realize it or not. And so every time we get someone to eat a little less beef or a little less chicken, then we think that we have a larger impact on the planet because it's less carbon intensive, less water intensive.
Okay, Andrew, we're gonna harvest these mushrooms, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, we have blue oysters, we have lion's mane, yellow oysters, and trumpet mushrooms. But we can start with the blue oyster.
Let's do it.
This one's pretty fun because, you know, you can't make any promises, but a lot of the time you kind of get the whole thing just in one pick.
Whoa!
Like that. Here you go. And so, big blue oyster
Wait,
mushroom.
this is so dense.
Yeah. You take a big cluster of mushrooms and you shove like garlic in here, like whatever herbs you want, so thyme and rosemary, but you just kind of like shove it inside the cluster itself.
Do you roast the whole thing?
And you just roast the whole thing. So let's try the lion's mane. So I would just pick off one of those. Yeah, there you go.
Lion's mane is so beautiful and so unique, and this to me is like the most otherworldly mushroom because it just looks like no other.
And when you can take it apart, it like kind of peels sort of like mozzarella.
It's so
or like
crazy.
A lot of people use it as like a shellfish replacement.
Because you can pull it, like it's almost stringy. Next, we harvested yellow oyster mushrooms, which were more delicate than their blue cousins. They'd be perfect in a creamy soup. But even Andrew has a favorite fungi.
I love trumpets so much, so if you cut it, this isn't the best knife skills, but you can cut them like this and then you can have a nice scallop.
Yeah.
These are probably the most popular for people who are trying to like imitate meat with a whole mushroom. And so the other mushrooms can give you the texture and the flavor and nutrition and all that kind of stuff, but these can like really stand in as a fake scallop or a fake bacon.
Why do you want people to eat more mushrooms?
I mean, they're great for you. There's a lot of nutrition. They're high in fiber. They have amazing antioxidants. They have vitamin D. And what I really like about them is that they have that umami and that experience that replaces meat.
I already eat a lot of mushrooms, but I'm convinced now.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. We are going to start with some good news. Doesn't it just feel good to be back to school?
It does.
Yes. This is so healthy.
Here's what's happening in York.
The crowd is ready. SG, you ready?
To refresh and reorganize for fall.
Start today.
Live from Ukraine, from Uvalde, Texas, from Mayfield, Kentucky. To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. You can actually see they're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told. Mel, do you remember any tornado as bad as this one? You look at this and you're thinking, we're not going to have power for weeks, if not months. Exactly. Every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
News is happening now.
Look at what's making headlines around the world.
Right now on Morning News Now.
We're coming on the air with breaking news.
And this is a significant moment.
Whenever it happens, wherever you are, NBC News, streaming free now.
Smallhold got me excited to try something with my new favorite fungi. So I invited mushroom enthusiast, James Beard award-winning chef, my friend Sophia Rowe, to my kitchen.
Hi! My friend, Sophia, I told you this before, that we were talking about mushrooms, and I was like, listen, I can't do this without Sophia. Talk to me about the role that mushrooms play in your work and in your world.
I went to culinary school and I was sort of kind of playing in that plant-based world, and I felt like fungi and mushrooms were a really great way to encourage a lot of depth, which I feel like in plant-based cooking sometimes you kind of lose, you know? You like meat and dairy, those things create a lot of depth. It's pretty remarkable the types of flavors that you can create. And this is not a new idea. They're, particularly in Asian cultures, they've been using different kinds of fungus for forever in their cooking. But for me, that was really when I was like, okay, this is sexy.
Can you just talk to me about how you work with them?
It's almost about like, what am I trying to create? You know, if someone's a very big meat person and they want to go plant-based for a minute or for a meal, I think it's really important to cook things in the same way that you cook meat, right? And I don't even know that that's just mushrooms or just fungi, right? A lot of times with steaks, you're braising, you're roasting, you're searing. There's no reason you can't treat plants the same way.
I'm just super excited to know what we're cooking today.
Yes.
Tell me about the dish and put me to work.
All right, so what we have here is lion's mane. When I'm looking for a lion's mane, you want them to be kind of fluffy. Okay, I've been touching this one a lot. You don't want them to be slimy. You don't want them to stink. If they stink or they're slimy, they're no good. And that's kind of the rule, the general rule with any mushroom.
Yeah.
In terms of washing them, these are commercially cultivated. So they are not wild, these are not feral. So these are not gonna need to be like really, really washed. You just wanna wipe them down, they're good. Do not get your mushrooms wet. You won't like it. So this is a good one. This is a great shape. So what we're gonna do is we're basically gonna make like a lion's mushroom steak. And you'll see that I've kind of like, as I'm even talking, I'm kind of pressing this. So it's kind of like where, just for a second, we're kind of like trying to create like a little steak here, like a little hanger steak.
Why are you using lion's mane here, Sophia?
I think lion's mane is really delicious, but it's great structure. So it's really great in terms of like replacing meat. If you can't find this, you can cook an oyster mushroom or even a big portobello in exactly the same method. So the key here is you're leaving it nice and whole.
Okay.
I kind of want to press these down. So I'm just gonna score this one side. Okay.
And why are you scoring it?
So we want the flavor to get in, doggy. We want it to be inside. So we're gonna make this glaze.
All right, let's do it.
Because we're attempting to make a steak, okay? What we wanna do is we wanna help these lion's mane mushrooms along. 3 tablespoons of vegan butter. If you wanna use regular butter, that's your house and do whatever you want. All right, we like it softened like this because we're gonna be whisking it up. We want this to be like glazed texture.
Okay.
Okay. We also have coconut aminos. It's just like a soy-free soy sauce vibe. Okay, I also like it because it's a little sweet.
Yes, it is.
And for a glaze, that's really nice. So the sweetness is important because the sweetness is gonna give us caramelization. So grab the sesame.
Yes.
Get it?
Sesame oil.
Love it.
We love it.
You could use toasted if you wanted, but this is just regular old sesame oil.
Next up, ingredients to really up the umami factor. Miso, Dijon mustard, and tomato paste.
We're gonna just get a good like pinch of salt in there. And then you're just gonna whiskey do, dude. So this is gonna get, I think we have this on medium heat.
Okay.
Okay. We have some grapeseed oil here. The reason we're using grapeseed is high smoking point. We're using cast iron. You don't have to use cast iron. You can use whatever you have.
So we're going score side down.
So what's gonna happen? We're gonna put them on. We're gonna get a good sear on each side, and then we're gonna brush our glaze on.
Okay.
Okay. 2 minutes. Flip it. 2 minutes. Then we're gonna take them off, and we're gonna let them rest, just like you would a
Just
steak.
like meat.
Just like meat.
Crazy.
We're gonna treat these just like meat.
I love that.
This is why we want this hot. Love it. Just drop it down. What we can do here, this is like a little tip too. You can always just
flatten it down.
Yeah, same you would do.
I'm sorry, do you have a SoundCloud?
I do now. So just to kind of encourage again, you want to encourage that flattening, right?
Yep.
Get it nice and thin, and that way the marinade is not having to penetrate so deep. You know how to make a steak. You know how to do these mushrooms.
After 3 minutes, time for a flip.
Look it. Gorgina. So we're just gonna brush this on, almost like you're basting a steak or something.
Oh,
come on, baby.
Everything about this feels like you are Van Gogh and I am your apprentice.
Oh my God. Except you could do this, but you see the sizzle and the, So what's gonna happen is these are gonna be sitting here, they're gonna be caramelizing, they're gonna be getting juicy. We're gonna take the rest of this glaze and we're gonna baste them a little bit.
Ooh.
So the basting method is never gonna be bad. It's always gonna be good. I mean, look how gorgeous that looks.
It's beautiful.
It's, stunning.
A few more minutes in the pan.
Literally crazy.
Crazy, right?
It kind of looks like meat too.
These are gonna rest, okay?
Okay.
It's 5 minutes. He doesn't need,
Okay,
you're not
nothing
trying to,
crazy.
Nothing wild.
As the mushrooms rested, Sophia chopped up some green onions for later. Then it was time to cut into the lion's mane steaks.
It's meaty,
Can we
dog.
show them? Like, they need to know.
That looks
Everyone,
really
alert,
meaty.
Alert.
But even like, it's almost like you wouldn't really know.
It just looks like chicken.
Sophia recommends serving the steaks over rice with a few garnishes. First some sesame seeds, then chili crisp, then scallions. Just like me, Sophia loves a little spice.
Come on. It's so good.
Wait, this is literally the best mushroom dish I've literally ever had.
It's so good. I love it. It is an unfamiliar ingredient cooked in a familiar format.
Correct.
So I think if you're a beginner to mushrooms, a really great thing to do is whatever you can find locally, just try cooking those mushrooms, whatever they are, in this format. Try cooking them this way.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get a completely new relationship to mushrooms. Also, for the people who are like, I hate mushrooms, just give the method a try, right?
I feel like we have to take a photo.
Let's do it.
Because like, when have we ever done a little friend cooking sesh?
Let's do it.
We need to do it.
We need a whole photo shoot.
We need a whole photo shoot. I love you. Wait, give me a hug. Thank you for coming.
Of course.
Sophia's lion's mane steak looked a lot like chicken, but one company in Colorado is completely transforming mushroom roots into an actual meat substitute.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. This is so healthy. Doesn't it just feel good to be back to school?
It does. Start today.
The day's biggest political stories with trusted insight now and expert analysis now. A daily look at the politics behind the headlines. Meet the Press Now, streaming weekdays at 4 p.m. on NBC News Now. Hallie Jackson Now, weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. This is how so many towns and cities are protecting themselves. They're pushing the gates open. Was there a school officer on campus? That's what we've been told.
No. Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
NBC News, streaming free now.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. We are going to start with some good news. Doesn't it just feel good to be back to school?
It does.
Yes. This is so healthy.
Here's what's happening in York.
The crowd is ready. SG, you ready?
Refresh and reorganize for fall.
Start today.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Meat substitutes are everywhere these days, and they're made with a wide variety of ingredients, from whole veggies to soy protein and different oils. Enter Meaty. Here in Boulder, Colorado, mushrooms are the main attraction, and I got an exclusive first look inside their new factory. Meaty isn't trying to replicate ground beef. They're mimicking whole cuts of meat, like steak or chicken breast.
It's like a super meat.
Yeah, it's a super meat.
Where it has all the protein you would want from meat, then all the fiber and vitamins and minerals you find in plants.
Yeah. CEO Tyler Huggins founded Meaty in 2016 after earning his PhD in environmental engineering. Tell me your journey to Meaty and why you started this company.
Well, let's start off with meat. We have a growing population, have a high demand for protein. Meat is a growing demand. Given my history studying nature, I knew there was this really cool, magical root-like structure in the soil. Biologists call it mycelium, we call it mushroom root.
Tyler and his team developed a patent-pending process that turned the fuzzy, hair-like mycelium strands into a product that mimics the taste and texture of meat. Unlike mushrooms, you won't find the raw roots in any grocery store. Currently, Meaty sells a steak-like fillet and a faux chicken cutlet that's available plain or with a crispy breading. And this is the place where it all comes together.
This is it. This is where the magic happens right here. This is the future of food.
The mushroom roots are grown inside these giant tanks.
This is where Meaty is grown,
We
right?
essentially take one spore.
Yep.
It's like the fungi equivalent of a seed.
Okay.
We start growing up the mushroom root, and then we throw it into this tank.
The tank is filled with water that's packed with nutrients mushroom roots need to thrive. And how long does it take to cultivate and grow and harvest Meaty?
Extremely fast. In this facility, we're able to create the meat equivalent of a whole cow in just 4 days.
So tell me how you replicate the texture of traditional meat.
And it all starts from the magic of this mushroom root. We grow it in-house in a clean environment, so no exposure to heavy metals or pesticides or herbicides or anything like that. At that state, it kind of looks like applesauce.
This is Meaty in the raw form before it's processed.
And when you form it into a chicken breast-like shape or a steak, those strands become the texture that is very similar, again, eats just like traditional meat. You can eat it just like that. That's just all natural mushroom root.
I'm gonna eat it. Okay.
It's that blank
It
canvas.
literally tastes like, I don't want to say nothing because
Yeah.
there is like a little bit of something, but it is so, like you could throw flavor and spice on that. Including mushroom root, Meaty's chicken swap has just 4 ingredients: salt, natural flavoring, and acacia gum, a fiber used as a food stabilizer. But I had to know, is it healthy?
So one of our 4-ounce steak has about 18 grams of protein. And then it has all the fiber and other vitamins and minerals you only find in plants. No cholesterol, no saturated fat, there's no sugar in it.
Meaty is now available online, but it often sells out fast. Really fast. The company is opening a second farm to meet demand, and Meaty will soon be available on supermarket shelves. What is the future of Meaty?
We see there's a lot of interest in alternatives to traditional meat. But what we're doing differently is whole food protein, simple ingredient list, super nutritious, and whole cuts. I think that opens up an entirely new demographic and group of folks who are excited to embrace something like this.
After hearing so much about these mushroom roots, I wanted to see how it really tasted.
Hallie Jackson Now. Weekdays at 5 on NBC News Now.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. We are going to start with some good news. Doesn't it just feel good to be back to school?
It does.
Yes. This is so healthy.
Here's what's happening in York.
The crowd is ready. SG, you ready?
Refresh and reorganize for fall.
Start today.
NBC News, streaming free now.
We'll meet Ukrainians who are defending their country one block at a time. When you were still in Kiev, could you hear the bombing? My name is Lester. Who's this?
News is happening now.
Look at what's making headlines around the world.
We're coming on the air with breaking news.
This is a significant moment.
Whenever it happens, wherever you are, NBC News, streaming free now.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. This is so healthy. Doesn't it just feel good to be back to school?
It does.
Yes.
Start today.
Now Tonight with Joshua Johnson. Streaming weeknights at 8 on NBC News Now.
In Boulder, Colorado, the folks behind Meaty are turning mushroom roots into a new meat substitute. At the factory's test kitchen, they're experimenting with the best ways to cook it. I met with Debbie Downing, the company's head research chef, to learn more.
I'm so excited to try this. Will you show me how to cook it up?
It's the mushroom root, right?
Right.
When you think about cooking mushrooms, it likes to soak up that oil, soak up the sauce.
Super porous, yeah.
Soak up anything that you give it. So best practices for our product is that we actually want to add oil to it first.
Right.
We want to just give a little bit of a drizzle here.
Season with salt and pepper, a little oil in the pan, then time for the cutlet.
All right, it's ready.
Oh yeah.
Sizzles really nicely.
The chicken and steak both take about 8 minutes to cook. Just like meat, the goal is to develop a nice sear for more flavor.
I think it's ready
All
to
right,
flip.
ready?
Yeah.
I just gasped. I haven't eaten chicken in a while.
Yeah.
I used to, so I know what chicken tastes like.
Yeah.
But I haven't cooked it in forever. And first of all, this is like very similar in cook. Like when you look at the browning,
Yeah.
and the caramelization around the edges.
All right, did you want to cut it?
Yeah. I'm like kind of freaking out right now.
Get into it.
I know. Sorry, Tyler. I'm just like, I'm processing. I can't get over how much it smells like chicken, and even looking at the texture, I'm gonna pick it up and just show you. Oh my God, I just touched it for the first time too. It's like the texture of it, of animal protein that you would normally see, I feel like it has that. But how?
That's the mushroom root, right? The fibers.
That's the mycelium.
Yeah, gives you that texture and that look.
This is not chicken, but it really looks like it. Okay, I'm gonna taste it. Should I taste it? This is my first time, I'm like
Yes.
stressed. Okay. Is there a mic I can drop? This is like taking me back to when I used to eat chicken. Literally. And I'm not just saying this as I'm on camera.
Next up, the steak fillet.
All right, steak. I'm trying it.
Do you need another mic to drop?
I need
Out
another
again?
mic to drop. This is insane.
Yeah.
This tastes like red meat.
I haven't had chicken nuggets in years, so I was really excited to try the crispy chicken.
This kind of takes me back to days of like growing up and eating fried chicken. Am I getting punked?
Got you.
But I wasn't done eating yet. The Meaty team had a big surprise for me.
Shut up! I'm leaving. I've seen my book.
Yep.
This is from my book. I didn't know I was gonna eat chicken and cry today.
My masala mac and cheese and cabbage salad from my cookbook both got the Meaty treatment with their chicken. I was so excited. Also on the menu, breakfast tacos and steak in a chimichurri sauce. I even got to try some products in development, a turkey deli meat and beef jerky. They were delicious.
This is not gonna be cute, I'm just warning everyone now.
It is a pretty big sandwich.
I'm taking this home. Wow. You guys are all like crazy magicians. Like something weird is going on here. Whoa. That's breakfast.
Yeah.
In true me fashion, we need to take a selfie. So if you don't mind, we're gonna get in here. All right. Say meaty.
Meaty.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
This was so
Yeah.
special.
No,
Truly.
thank you.
I don't know if I can go on.
My love for mushrooms has been cemented. From a delicious side dish to a show-stopping main, their culinary versatility is unparalleled. And that's what makes mushrooms truly magic.
Good morning. It's Thursday. We have breaking news, a major step to avoid a devastating rail strike from coast to coast.
We've got everything you need to know. It's September 5th.